each other.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dons the last 4 or 5 years have ended Loyola's season in the playoffs. Every year they seem to knock Loyola out, and so Loyola always wants to come in and take care of the Dons.
When you look at a season like last year, now this year it could go either way at this point. They want to get this roll going. You're talking about a 4-game home match coming up in a row. Big ones next week. What's the key for tonight?
Well, the key for tonight is to get the setters in a position that they can put up a hittable balls, and that's going to start with the pass. Graydon Ainsworth has done a great job, but they just need to keep him in system and able to run the ball to his middles as much as possible.
The Dons taking on Loyola Chicago. We'll have the first serve coming up here on CATV.
Way to a college where the class size is small.
I've gone away to a college with a beautiful campus.
I've gone away to a college that cares about diversity.
I've gone away to a college where I get to live in my own apartment instead of living in a dorm room.
I've gone away to a college that really isn't that far away.
I go to IPFW.
IPFW.
I go to IPFW.
To find out more about college life at IPFW, go to our website. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, 2 great names.
Life is good, but with a master's degree from IPFW, it could be even better. You could land a promotion, earn more money, become a leader in your field. And IPFW makes it easy. With affordable tuition, night and weekend classes, and more than 20 graduate programs from business to education to public affairs and more. Become the master of your future. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. Your graduate university.
And welcome inside the Gates Center. 4-2 IPFW off to the early lead against Loyola Chicago. And this is a younger team, and obviously right now as we pick it up, Macias, we talked about a big night there, and that's what they want to do to him is keep the block on.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be targeted by every opponent he faces, and if he can get off to a good start, he can really have a hot night, but most teams try and sit on him.
Brock Ulrich scoring many of the points for the Dons, off to a good start. Now they're trying to get the serve back. And it's Stewart with the kill up at the net.
And that's one of the keys for the Dons is they want to try and pass the ball to their setter so the setter doesn't have to move very much and can run his middle hitters.
This Loyola University Ramblers team starting just one senior tonight. 2 teams very close in the division standings. That one's going to be off Stewart. It'll be a point for the Ramblers.
Yeah, no, Ramblers, a key position for the Ramblers is the setter position. Mike Hutz is a freshman, and he's running the offense. That's like having a freshman quarterback.
Ian Anderson, the guy to watch over on the Rambler side, number 6. And that is what they want to avoid, a big-time hit from C.J. Macias.
And another key to this match for IPFW is their ball control. Passing the ball to the setter so he doesn't have to move will enable him to make one-on-one situations for his hitters like you saw there.
Ainsworth, the 6'8 senior, to offer up the serve to Loyola. Well, they may not have the size, but they certainly come out swinging.
Yeah, well, Loyola traditionally is a really good defensive team and a really good ball control team. And when I mention ball control, I'm talking about their serve receive. Passing to the setter is key for both teams tonight.
IPFW up 6-5 as they receive the serve. Macias. And they get the block, but Yost can still go with the touch there, the finesse.
Yeah, that's a crafty play by Jason Yost. In volleyball lingo, that's called a tool or using the block, and it's a very smart play by Yost.
Macias is a fun one to watch serve. IPFW gets the double block, but it goes the other way, and Loyola pulls to within 7-6. When you talk about where they're at in the standings, how big a game is this for both squads?
This is huge. This is huge. These next 4 games for IPFW are huge because this is going to dictate whether they host a home playoff match or not.
And they go the other way. And right there is Jason Yost. That's the key to being a good setter. Obviously, Loyola's kind of stacking the other side. They go the opposite way.
Yeah, spreading their offense out. And again, the ball control allows you to do that. If your setter has to go on the run, he becomes predictable. But if he can work from target, which is the middle of the net.
Off the Oliver Cook serve. Just got too far underneath. We talk about these 2 teams close in the standings. IPFW 2-2 as we have Matt Plisky back in the lineup now. And 3-2 is exactly right in front of him is this Loyola squad. IPFW up 8-7.
Yeah, so absolutely huge match, like you said before. Both teams trying to host a home playoff match. I don't have to tell you what home court advantage is all about.
Well, service error is certainly something Coach Shane Davis does not want to see on the other sideline.
No, but the Dons will take it.
Yeah, they'll take it for sure. Jason Yost back to serve for the Dons, 9-7 IPFW. And right back to him, 9-8 now as IPFW returns the favor and some substitutions on the Rambler sideline.
So you'll see aggressive serving from both teams because the idea is they want to get each team to make bad passes.
And we've seen 3 in a row now. If you're wondering how these teams stack up, the last time they met in April, IPFW won in 3 straight. 17-9 is the all-time lead, with the Dons taking the advantage in that one.
Brock Ulrich also has a great jump serve here, and he's going to try and spin one in.
Handled by Loyola. And right there in great position was Josh Stewart, and the Dons will take the point. They lead at 11-8.
Yeah, he actually took a little off his serve there. I guess with 3 service errors in a row, he wanted to get something going, and they got lucky that they misconnected over there.
And they get C.J. Macias for coming over the net. Good crowd on hand tonight at the Gates Center, and it seems like early in game 1 here, it's going to be a boisterous crowd.
Yeah, the crowds so far this season have been so great for the Dons, and we have yet to see the student population make their showing.
Oh, nice save. Boy, what a save over there by Brock Ulrich.
That's what Graydon Ainsworth did there, turn and block the ball. That's the advantage of having a big, tall setter like Graydon. He's 6'8", and that's probably one of the tallest setters you're going to see in the MIVA.
Speaking of big and tall, Josh Stewart stands at 6'8". And the Dons are in control.
Well, it was a great dig. It gave Graydon something to work with, and he decided to throw it back to Yost, but Yost just going to get it past the block.
Good defense on the side of the Ramblers. They get 2 guys up at the net. 12-10, Dons with the lead as the George Camberos serving it up for Loyola. They go to Macias, get the block, but the Dons still in control. Oh, nice touch over on the Ramblers.
Crafty play by Guntley. Nice job of mixing it up. They took a hard swing, and then he throws a tip in there and gets Yost to have to dive for it. Sort of like throwing a fastball and then a changeup.
Yeah, mixing it up a little bit. 12-11, the Dons cling to the lead. And that one's long. Make it 13-11.
Well, so far both teams are passing really well. They're not having their setters run around too much, but they're both struggling just a little bit on serving.
Graydon Ainsworth back to serve for the Dons, up 13-11. They had the block, and Ainsworth tried to dig it, and that's got to be a tough play in the back corner.
Yeah, you know, they say anytime the ball hits the digger, it's got to go up.
Yeah.
And so that's a missed opportunity for the Dons.
You could see it in his face that that's a play he thought he should have made.
Absolutely.
And it's a big-time serve. The Dons can't handle it, and suddenly Loyola has tied this match at 13. Early on, it seems like neither team has found that rhythm, and I think
no,
it can happen fast.
Yeah, they've both been sort of breaking the rhythm with service errors, but they see they're staying aggressive, and it's yielding an ace.
Nick Lamoureux to serve it up once again. Dons handle it. They're going to go to Macias. And he just misses, not by much.
It was a good swing. It's a low percentage shot going down the line, but if it's a high risk, high reward shot, because if it's in, it's usually a kill.
Yeah, I don't see anybody returning that from the Ramblers. They do lead at 14-13 though. And the Ramblers take advantage of one that just goes a little bit too far. 15-13 now, and IPFW is going to get a break in the action, as will we. We'll be back here with the Dons trailing 15-13 at the Gates Center. 15-13 game 1 here as the Dons regroup a little bit. What do you look, if you're Arnie Ball, what do you tell your guys right now?
Well, what they're struggling with right now is their serve receive. They're really struggling with Lamoureux's serve, and so Coach Ball is just going to tell them, bring it off the net, let Graydon get his hands on the ball, and he's probably going to ask for CJ to take a swing here.
Yeah, CJ's gotten some good looks, but to this point you talked about the Ramblers being a good defensive team, and we've seen that up at the net.
Absolutely, absolutely. But, you know, the Dons haven't returned a ball in play.
And as we said, 15-13, of course, let's take a minute to thank today's game sponsor as well, 816 Pint and Slice. They're located at 816 South Calhoun Street in Fort Wayne. For some fine pizza and drinks, it is 816 Pint and Slice. Ramblers stay in control of the serve. They are up 15-13 as the Dons hope to turn it around.
Well, that's a good pass.
And they put it away. That's Oliver Cook at the net. And if you've never been to one of these Division I games, it's hard to explain the intensity and the speed at which the game's played.
Oh, man, you know, these guys are jumping. Almost all these guys on the floor here can touch over 11 feet. They can jump and touch higher than 11 feet. That's like the top of the box.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is about the top of the box in basketball, just to put that in perspective. That is Macias on the serve, and the Dons keep it in play, but certainly Loyola in control.
Some defense by the big guy back there.
Macias from the back row, nice touch. Oh, it's a good series at the net. Oliver Cook puts it away.
Yeah, you have to tip your hat to Graydon Ainsworth there. He had two tremendous digs. The first one being the tougher of the two. A line shot straight down at him, and he was able to keep it in play.
And Macias continues to serve, now tied up at 15. Going the other way, that is their big hitter. We talked about him before, number 6, Ian Anderson.
And he's a lefty, so he's hitting from the right side of the court, which is a natural side for a lefty to hit from. You'll see IPFW also has a lefty on the right side of the court in Jason Yost, so they're even in those respects.
Anderson, one of only 2 seniors, the only one starting tonight. Nicely executed at the line, and Oliver Cook certainly has had a good few minutes here. He's pumped up.
Absolutely. And again, the Dons are doing a great job of keeping Graydon in system. What I mean by in system is he's working from target, and he's got all 3 of his hitters available. It's a lot like a quarterback working from the pocket.
Josh Stewart back in for the Dons, who try and take over the serve. And they can't get this one done. It's going to go back over to Loyola of Chicago.
So far, I'm really impressed with the Dons' defense. I mean, they're getting their hands on a lot of volleyballs. They're digging a lot up, and they're really challenging Loyola, and they're fighting fire with fire because Loyola is a good defensive team.
See a little more intensity coming out of the huddle there. This one's going to go to the Ramblers, and boy, you get the feeling if you give Anderson that look, it's going to be awful difficult.
Oh, yeah, he does such a nice job of getting a full approach. He comes flying in, and he takes a great swing. And again, he's hitting from his natural side, which is the right side because he's a left-hander.
Great swing. That's like a sledgehammer coming through there. That is a left-handed sledgehammer coming through.
Look for the Dons to try and attack on the right side of the court for them because Cambros at 6 foot is sort of an undersized blocker.
And he puts it deep in the back row. A good block by the Dons, but it's outside of the lines, which means it's going to go over to the visitors from Loyola University, who now have a 19-16 lead. And another substitution for the Dons is Dan McNerney, the big 6'5 sophomore, is going to check in from Long Grove, Illinois.
And he'll be taking over the setting duties for Graydon Ainsworth, so Coach Ball saw something he didn't like.
And he gets called into action right away.
And that's a lift. The ball came to rest in the setter's hands there, and that's a break because Ian Anderson was flying through again.
Yeah, he was coming from the back row with a smile on his face. 19-17 in control are the visitors right now, but Jason Yost hoping to change that and bring the Dons closer. Oh, just a great serve.
Now, by taking Graydon Ainsworth out and putting Dan McNerney in, he's got a smaller block on the right side, but it shouldn't be that much of a problem because Cambros, who would be hitting against McNerney, is only 6 foot.
Joe Guntley tried to play that one in the back row, and they go right back to that row again. The Dons have a chance. This time they go to the other side. And this time Anderson, you saw the difference. He was a little farther back, didn't have quite the same angle.
Yeah, it was. He wasn't ready for that set, so he wasn't ready to take a good approach on it.
Another break in the action, 19 all as we take a minute timeout here. The Dons have gotten right back into this one. And when we talk about the rally point mentality, it can change in a hurry.
Oh, absolutely. Momentum is such a huge factor in volleyball. So we'll see if they can hold on to the momentum when we come back from break here.
We'll be right back at the Gate Center, 19 all.
Pizza! I must eat. Wait, what is this? Capsicum anum? Agaricus bisporus? Allium cepa?
Can we eat this?
Peppers, mushrooms, and onions. Eat your pizza, man.
Funny.
Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, two great names.
You see, you can go the other way. And a really nice touch, hitting through really a double block, not much there.
See Anderson trying to make space, but the set that goes up to him is too far outside the antenna, and he has to try and bring it back, and he can't. Good break for the Dons.
Dons in good shape. We talked about that good crowd. There's a few of front row members right there. 2019, Loyola in control. The ladies out here ready, excited for the Dons as well, looking to see a rally here in game one. They go the other side, and boy, when we talk about a big left hand, Jason Yost has one as well.
Yeah, both sides, right side hitters are really having a good night so far. That is Jason's fourth kill. He's leading the Dons with 4 kills from the right side, as is
Ulrich with the serve, and right back it comes from Loyola on the other side. They take a 21-20 lead.
Ian Anderson on the right side has 3 kills for Loyola, so both right sides are doing a great job.
Yeah, it feels like he's got more than 3. I think
yeah,
they were
like
just a very, very powerful 3. This time it's Anderson to serve. And now at this point, you're just trying to get it back over. Good block, and Pliski tries to dig it out, but little chance at that point.
Yeah, and that's a really big example right there of out of system. That's sort of a phrase, a coaching phrase, out of system. When your setter can't handle the ball and somebody else has to, you're out of system.
22-20, Anderson serving it up once again, and this time it's Stewart, and he gets it to drop in the back row. A big point for the Dons.
And right there is an example of being in system. McNerney didn't have to move at all to play that ball. He was able to run his middle if he wanted to. Whenever you're able to run your middle, you're in system. And that's a big advantage for you when you're in system.
Dons to bring in 2 fresh faces, Oliver Cook and Mike Marisi back in the game.
And Marisi was a libero for the Dons 2 years ago when they first went to the Final Four and played.
They're explaining to Mike Hutz what happened there, and I'm not sure Mike's buying the argument he's hearing right now.
Well, what they're saying is that he went under the net. He stepped under the net, and that, while that's not a rule in women's volleyball, it is a rule in men's volleyball.
And there's Shane Davis, the coach of the Loyola University Ramblers, hearing the verdict as well. 22-all is the score. And right back at it is Nick Lamoureux, the junior out of Wheaton, Illinois.
And again, they were working from an in-system. They were in system there, and so they were able to run their middle. So right now it's about who can get each team out of system and keep them from running their middles, because the middles are effective.
Nice touch. The Ramblers hold it. And over on the other side of the net, that's Joe Gutley, the junior from St. Louis, Missouri, 24-22 now. Loyola trying to escape with this first game. The Dons trying to get the serve.
That's the second time Gutley scored with a tip, and that's his 5th kill. He's hitting 7-14 on the night.
There's Yost with a big-time hit. We talked about him being their kill leader at this point.
Yep, that's his 5th kill of the night, and Yost is hitting 500. And just to give you an idea, it's like a batting average. Your hitting percentage is like a batting average. If you hit 300, you're having a really good night. So Yost is hitting 500, Gutley's hitting 714.
McNerney with the serve. He'll go to the back row. And he didn't miss by much.
Dons need to get the ball back. They need a good pass here. They can't afford let Loyola run any more points or open the lead up anymore.
Got Anderson in the back row. And that's a put away on the other side of the net there by Daryl Shank. First time we've called his name tonight.
And they're going to call Daryl Shank under the net, so it's the same call we just saw a few points ago. They're going to say he came under the net after he hit the ball. And
that's a big call at this point in the game.
It is a big call because it just gives a 3-point lead and only puts the Ramblers 4 points away from taking game one.
Still back to serve it is Lamoureux, the junior, 6'7".
So out of system they are.
Handled nicely, and they go right back this time to Daryl Shank again, and this time point Dons.
That's a huge play. That pass was about 20 feet off the net, and they were still able to run a front row hitter and get the score. So when you can work from out of system and get the point, it's a very good thing.
Shank, a 6'5" freshman, serves it up. The Ramblers handle it. And that is a big-time kill on the other side by Joe Guntley, who can, he may not have Anderson's power, but he's not missing it by much.
Well, you know, he's just doing such a nice job of mixing up his shots and keeping it away from the block, tipping it over or hitting it around. He's just really playing a tough game right now.
27-24, the Dons handle it.
Well, that set was a little close to the antenna, and Yost nipped the antenna with his swing. It was a great set, though, a great set choice, because he had blockers, hook, line, and sinkers. They both jumped with the middle hitter, so he was Yost pretty much had an open look.
We're going to keep it here, 28-24. Dons in trouble in game one as they rally up now at this point. And when you're talking rally serve, it just comes down to this point. You basically can't lose a point at this point.
No, definitely not. Not at 28-24. So out of this timeout, they need a real good pass, and they need to get the ball back to one of their big guns.
Here's the replay we talked about. The Dons are going to handle this one.
Well, see, they got a single block here, and Guntley just takes it right down the line. That ball, I'm telling you, that ball was moving like 80 miles an hour, by the way. It didn't look so fast in slow motion, but it's almost undiggable when it's coming from about 15 feet away and at like 80 miles an hour.
Actually, I think it even looked fast in slow motion. That's how hard he hit it.
But see, that was a great example of what you can do if you have a one-on-one situation. If you're a hitter and you're hitting it just against one blocker, you have the advantage. If you're hitting against a double block, the double block has the advantage. So the idea of the setter is to spread the sets around, set some different hitters, keep the block guessing so that you can isolate blocks and get a single block at a one-on-one situation for your attackers.
Saw some of the Don faithful hoping for a rally here in game one. 28-24, the Ramblers serving and leading.
That's a pretty good pass, but not perfect.
Well, we talked about a good defensive team, and twice they send it over Brock Ulrich and give the point to the Dons. 28-25, it's not exactly how you draw it up, but they'll take the point.
But, you know, it's what they did there is called covering a block, and that's important. They covered the block, returned the ball, and got the point.
Oliver Cook to serve as the Dons trail by 3 in game one.
That is a break for the Dons because the setter went up, Mike Hutz went up to jump set the ball, and blocker jumped with him. So if he would have been able to connect with his middle, there would have been no block in front of that middle hitter. So a big break.
Cook likes the floater serve, and Dons keep control. Just a tough shot as Daryl Shank running away from the net. Tried to get it over the net and just wasn't able to do so.
You know, and that's sort of a freshman mistake because at 28-26, you can't make a hitting error like that. You've got to give it up, send a free ball over, and hope to play some defense.
Don's trying to stay in the game here at the end of game one. And Shank is going to be long, and that'll give game one to the Ramblers, who take it 30-26. We're going to head to break here as they switch sides. The Dons will look for a comeback in game two. You're watching CATV here as the Dons and Loyola Ramblers do battle.
Life is good, but with a map, you could land a promotion, earn more money, become a leader in your field. And IPFW makes it easy with affordable tuition, night and weekend classes, and more than 20 graduate programs from business to education to public affairs and more. Become the master of your future. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. your graduate university.
Diabetes is a killer. After I was diagnosed, I didn't feel sick, so I didn't listen to my doctor. Then it struck. I had a heart attack, then a stroke, and I was only 49.
People with diabetes are 2 to 4 times more likely to suffer a stroke than people without diabetes, and many who survive are severely disabled.
Don't let diabetes destroy your life.
Learn how to reduce your risk of stroke. Call for your free diabetes survival guide.
I've gone away to a college where the class size is small. I've gone away to a college with a beautiful campus.
I've gone away to a college that cares about diversity.
I've gone away to a college where I get to live in my own apartment instead of living in a dorm room.
I've gone away to a college that really isn't that far away at all.
I go to IPFW.
IPFW.
I go to IPFW.
To find out more about college life at IPFW, go to our website. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, 2 great names.
This was the last time these two teams met, April 26th, when IPFW won the first game, and then 30-26, and they went to cruise that night with a 3-0 win. And Stephen, we talk about one thing interesting was C.J. Macias taken out midway through that game and didn't come back in. And clearly, when you look at the hitting percentage, not off to a great start.
No, Coach Ball took both Braden Ainsworth, the starting setter, and C.J. Macias, an All-American, out of the match. And there you see one of the keys for the Ramblers is to stop CJ, and they did. They stopped him early, and they got him out. They got a freshman in Daryl Shankin, and so things are going Loyola's way right now. Look for CJ to come back out and try and get things started here.
You know, I would think Coach Shane Davis has to be real pleased. It's a young team, but they played solid in the first game, and they have not beaten a ranked team this year, even though their record is 8-6.
Right. Well, the other thing you have to remember, we showed that loss, that April 26th loss. That was it. That was in the end of the season last year, and pretty much IPFW has ended Loyola's season just about every year in the playoffs. So. Any upperclassmen in this Loyola team know that anytime they get a chance to beat IPFW, they're going to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, and there aren't many upperclassmen, but I'm sure Ian Anderson reminded them,
yes.
Hey, boys, this is the team that's really frustrated me a couple years in a row.
And Guntley as well. And then the thing is, Guntley had an older brother who was a setter for Loyola all those years, who just recently graduated.
So replace one Guntley with another.
So Guntley knows all about him, too.
Don's trying to turn things around here in game number 2. As we mentioned, a good crowd on hand out here at the Gates Center as we take a look at Jason Yost, the senior from IPFW.
And Graydon Ainsworth is also back in the match. So Graydon Ainsworth and C.J. Macias back in. So they're back to that original starting lineup.
Back to the original starting lineup. We talked about Yost. He will serve things up in game 2.
It's a good pass.
And that's a case where Nick Lamoureux, the big junior, just got that big wheelhouse swing at it.
Oh, yeah. And again, you know, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but when you get a pass right on the setter's head, he has all 3 hitters. It's very hard to block.
Ian Anderson on the serve. The Dons handle it. And it's coming our way there off the hand of Brock Ulrich, who's had a good night so far. We're tied at 1.
And that was a pretty good pass, but they had a double block on that, so it was a nice swing by Ulrich to hit the ball around the block. Good sharp angle there, very hard to dig.
Ulrich with the jump serve. Boy, that is not a, Camberos is only 6 feet tall, and he gets up in a hurry. A little too much there as it flies past the back line, and IPFW takes a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, it's a good matchup. Got 6'8" Graydon Ainsworth blocking Camberos. So look for them to try and go elsewhere with the ball. Probably Anderson out of the back row here.
Oh, that's we talk about a mistake right there. You don't see too many of those, but Vallejo can't handle it. The Dons will take that break.
Ulrich has been serving really well tonight. One of the few Dons that have been consistently serving tough. So we see if he can keep it going. Another good serve.
And this time at the net, it is Lamoureux to put it away again. And you talk about a good serve. He puts it in a good spot, and you're just waiting for the block at that point.
Yeah, well, exactly. It was a good serve, but the pass was just as good, keeping the setter in system and allowing him to run his middle.
Boy, he has got some vertical leap, but he mishits that one, and the Dons will take over.
So sort of like if you can make the setter run, it's sort of like making a quarterback flush out of a pocket. He's not going to be as accurate with his throws and not going to be as good with his hitters.
Get them out of their comfort zone. And speaking of being in the comfort zone, that is 3 in a row for Lamoureux, who has certainly found his rhythm. He'll go back to serve.
And the trouble with that is if they can continue to run their middles successfully, the Dons are going to have to commit to the middles, and it'll make it even easier for Loyola to get one-on-one situations out on the antennas.
4-3 Dons. They'll take over and make it a 5-3 game on the hitting error from Lamoureux. Anything jump out at you from the first game? Obviously getting CJ more involved.
Oh, yeah, definitely getting CJ more involved. But Loyola hit 444, and again, I remember I said a good hitting percentage is 300, so to hit 444
well above
is outstanding.
That. Graydon Ainsworth hits the net, and Loyola's still in control. And from the left side, that's Joe Gutley, who's had himself a pretty good night early on as well.
He's having a great night. Again, he's just showing his ability to hit all different kinds of shots. He's tipping over the block, he's hitting down the line, he's hitting cross court. He's really got a full arsenal.
Back with the jump serve that goes extremely long is Mike Hudson. He's a freshman. IPFW will now send it back to CJ Macias, who will certainly uncork his jump serve as the Dons lead at 6-4.
Well, Loyola's been serving really tough, and they're going to accept a few errors. Really, you want one ace for every 2 errors. Is sort of an acceptable ratio.
And that one, I guess, if you could use the golf term, kind of hooks to the left. 6-5 now as Ian Anderson and company get ready to prepare their block from IPFW.
I'll tell you, that's a great swing by Yost. He goes up facing cross court. The block moves cross court to take that shot away, and he just sort of hits that across his body and down the line. The defense wasn't even ready for it. Everyone was looking cross court.
Oliver Cook with the serve. Don's leading 7-5, and right there at the net to make him pay for a mistake. You don't want to pass it there.
No, overpasses are a real bad thing in the men's game. And Loyola's ball control is breaking down just a little bit, which is a good thing for the Dons.
Kind of a different feel in game 2. IPFW taking an 8-5 lead. From the back row, Macias, a good play by Yost to set him up, but you talk about the difference between hitting from the front row and the back row, and you see it right there.
Well, it absolutely is a huge difference. That attack line is 10 feet away from the net, so you can't hit as down as much as you want to.
Well, you talk about the jump serve. There's a case of just changing it up a little bit, and Daniel East just really serves it, puts it in the right spot.
And a couple matches this year, we've seen the Dons struggle with the float serve, and so there they got aced by one.
And right back to put it away though is Josh Stewart, the big 6'8" senior.
He went to the same spot with that serve, and they were ready for it. Graydon Ainsworth working right from target, able to run his middle.
9-7 Dons, the big left-hander Jason Yost will serve it up. And there's Ian Anderson, pretty good handle of Camberos, but Ian Anderson's there on the other side to put it right back.
And it was sort of like the same kill Yost had. Anderson facing cross court and hits right across his body and down the line. Everyone was shifted cross court, so both right sides are really putting on a show tonight.
9-8 Dons. And Anderson got going, a little too much steam as he comes over the line.
And that's a nice break for the Dons because he's been spinning some nice serves in there for him.
Well, I think that's that theory you talked about, one ace for every 2 mistakes. And right. With Anderson, you probably get that. But right back the other way, Brock Ulrich just didn't get it up high enough.
That's a tough miss for the Dons because they've been running 2 or 3 points every time Ulrich goes back to serve. So he sort of bails Loyola out there with an error.
Boy, nice play at the net.
And that's a net violation. I think they're calling it on Graydon Ainsworth.
We talk about George Camberos here, a 6 foot, his vertical leap. I mean, certainly most players that play the game at the Division I level can get up, but he's given away 7-8 inches to a lot of guys on the floor.
Right, and while on the attack, that might not be that big of a deal because, the timing's a little different. Sometimes it's hard to block a big jumper, but when he's blocking, that's the problem because it takes him a little longer to get over the net than a 6'8" guy. So the hits usually pass him a lot of times.
Josh Stewart with the floater. Don's now in control. Boy, just a nice hit at the net by Oliver Cook. And IPFW in control right now at 12-10 as Stewart will continue to serve.
And still Loyola struggling a bit on serve receive. They did not really on game 1, and here they are in game 2, having trouble getting the ball to the setter. There they do.
That's one of those, they handle the floater, and that is Joe Guntley on the other side to put it away.
You know, when the setter's on the run, the offense becomes real predictable, and if you'll see a lot of times they'll try even get a triple block up if they think they know where the set's going to go.
Daniel East back in the game for the Ramblers of Loyola. And that one didn't miss by much, but it's long, and it'll go back over to IPFW as Graydon Ainsworth is going to serve things up. 13-11, Don's in control. Game 2, the first game, went to the visitors of Loyola.
Another tough pass. And I don't know how Anderson snuck that one down the line there. He had very, very little daylight, but he still did it.
Almost impossible angle, but boy, yeah. he certainly doesn't lose any steam when he's going after it. 13-12, Don's lead by 1. And make it 2 on the service error.
And that's a tough miss for Loyola. I mean, they're all tough misses. It sounds silly to say that, but they have their 3 probably best blockers in the front row. You want to be able to at least get the serve in and have a chance to block it.
C.J. Macias on the serve for the Dons.
Huge dig.
That's what you want to see. Now Macias tried from the back row. He found 3 red shirts at the net, waiting for that one.
Now, Macias has got to be getting frustrated. He needs to just collect himself, and what they need to do is try and find him an opportunity to get a big swing and let him get mentally back in this.
Joe Guntley on the serve for the Ramblers, and that's a nice put away right there by Oliver Cook, the big 6'6" freshman. And we're going to take a timeout. The Dons are halfway home in game 2, 15-13. We'll be back with more action from the Gate Center.
Mom, Dad, you know we love kids, and I've made a decision that will totally change my life. Cameron's too. It's a huge responsibility, leading someone into, who knows, communication or science or math. That's what life's all about, right? Learning so you can pass on knowledge to younger minds. Dad, Mom, I want to be a teacher.
Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, 2 great names.
And welcome back to the Gate Center. 15-13, Dons in control of game 2, and you can see it kind of from the side angle here. Is coming out of nowhere and finding the right spot on the floor is Oliver Cook.
And you know, it was a good pass from a tough serve. Again, Graydon Ainsworth able to run his middle hitter, and when you can run your middle hitter, you definitely have the advantage on the attack.
There's the Matt Plisky fan club this afternoon. It's 15-13. They certainly would like to see him serve up a few here, and the Dons looking to get some momentum. Boy, that's a great block of Anderson, and you talked about 2 guys at the net.
Yep, and that's just a great job because they were in system there. They had to worry about the middle hitter, but nice job of Ulrich in taking that angle away and turning the block in and not getting used.
Well, how about the educated crowd? They get as excited for that as anything else. They know what that means.
Oh, yeah.
And right back the other way, though, is Daniel Lease. He's the big 6'7" freshman as well. 16-14, Dons in control, and that's how you want to handle Anderson at the net for sure.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, to block a guy like Anderson is huge, and it's a big momentum builder for a team when you get another team's big gun. You know, it's even more exciting than just any other block.
Yeah, the 2 big hitters in this one, Anderson and Macias, both 6'4" across the net.
And, you know, Macias is struggling tonight. He's hitting -429. He's got 1 kill, 4 errors on 7 attempts.
Can you remember the last time that's happened?
But the nice thing is the rest of the Dons are picking up the slack.
And one of those guys is certainly Stewart.
Good dig.
Oh, what a shot at the net. Boy, you're in a position if you're Jason Yost you really have little to do with it but go for that back corner. That's a great shot.
And that's an advantage of being a lefty and being on the right side of the net. Your hitting shoulder is off the net. You can turn into the ball. It's a natural swing for you.
And Yost is going to be the server, 17-14 Dons. And this time it's Anderson to make it 17-15 with his big left hand from the other side. Certainly a little different feel for they're in more control than game one.
Oh, definitely. You know, the Dons are still playing tough, though. They're getting hands on everything now. They're not getting as many free swings, Loyola. And, again, everyone chipping in for the Dons. Everyone's getting some good swings on the ball, so they're letting CJ work out of his slump, and he doesn't have to carry the team right now.
Anderson had an error on his last serve, not on this one though, but into the net, I believe, go the Ramblers. And the Dons will control the serve.
You know, and they had a double block on that, so it's a good break for the Dons. And they need to use this, and just the right guy at the right time right now is Ulrich.
Ulrich having a good game so far, hoping to add to that at 18-15. Well, you can tee that one up for Nick Lamoureux, and boy, when he gets ahead of steam in a perfect set there.
And that's Lamoureux's 7th kill of the night. He's hitting .667, and Loyola stays in the 400 with a hitting percentage.
And right back the other way, just as impressively as Josh Stewart at the net. He pounds it home.
And, you know, this is a big deal for the Dons to be able to run their middles so successfully tonight. It's something they've struggled with on and off all season. But tonight, the middles are on, and the passing is real good.
Stewart goes to the floater. And there's Yost. Dons building some momentum. They've got their biggest lead of the game at 20-16.
Yost had the double block on him, but he was able to just turn it down the line, and he's having a lot of success going down the line.
Shane Davis has seen enough. He wants to stop that momentum from the Dons as they lead at 26-2 here in Game 2 at the Gate Center. And, of course, keep in mind the Arnie Ball Show on College Access Television. Coach Ball and host Mark Franke bring up the IPFW volleyball throughout the season. You can hear from the coaches, the players as well. Watch the game footage to get some coaches' perspective on the upcoming games, which there'll be a lot coming up Thursday evenings at 7:30, and of course Fridays at 6:30, Saturdays at noon as well. The Arnie Ball Show, Comcast Channel 5 and Fios Channel 30. And certainly Arnie Ball's got a little more to smile about now in Game 2. It's just little things. You know, it's not been a drastic change from Game 1 to Game 2, but they're in more control.
No, they're exactly. Control, that's the key word. Ball control. That's what this game, that's what this sport comes down to, is passing the ball off serve to your setter and letting your setter have a lot of options. And
that young Don fan is happy to see things going her way in Game 2 as it's 2016. And
that young Don fan is the daughter of head women's volleyball coach Kelly Hartley.
So she's going to be spiking soon.
Yeah, we've already got her setting and spiking.
Josh Stewart with the floater serve, and their Dons are in good position. Well, it's not the kill Macias was looking for, but the Dons will take the point. 21-16 now, nice little run.
And they had the triple block on Macias, and they made a net violation. Just the Ramblers are a little sloppy with in the net. I think that's the third net violation of this game.
Crowd's starting to get into it. We see the floater again from Stewart. Boy, I'm not sure that's exactly how Lamoureux wanted to hit that one down, but
again, Loyola forcing their middles, running them whenever possible because they're having a lot of success out of the middle. That's Lamoureux's 8th kill. He's hitting 700.
And a nice serve the other way. The Dons handle it. And it goes wide. You can chalk up the point to the Loyola Ramblers. And they pull within 21-18. Lamoureux will continue to serve.
Step was just a little low for Kook. He probably should have made a better choice with that and tipped it or rolled it rather than try and hit it.
Lamoureux with the jump serve.
And again, you see they had a triple block on Macias, and he's just trying to find an answer.
Tough angle, is that what you chalk that up to?
Yeah, well, it was sort of a tight set, a little outside, but Macias just was trying to find a way to score. When you got a triple block in your face, you don't have many options. one thing you might want to think about doing is trying to tool the block out of bounds.
Well, it's a good series there for Loyola, but the nice thing for the Dons, they were in control and remain in control at 21-19, but how quickly things can change when you get a little momentum.
Yeah, and the nice thing right now is the fans here, when you're seeing a few of them right now, are starting to really get loud. We're starting to hear the IPFW chant, and so that's one way to keep the Dons' momentum rolling here.
Well, there's something special. If you've not been out to the Gates Center, you've got to get out here and see this team play. It is truly amazing, and obviously coming off the magical season of last year.
Absolutely.
There's just an excitement on the campus, and this is a team that a lot of people said, where are they going to find the answers? And they've had a solid run here, and certainly they're looking to build on with a big weekend next week and some wins this weekend.
Coach Ball always seems to get the Dons to peak at the right moment. That's always right around playoff time.
Go to Macias. And off the double block, the Dons will take the point, 22-19.
And, right now, any kill's a good kill for CJ. He's just got to find his way out of this, and the rest of the Dons just got to keep chipping in.
22-19, IPFW in control, game 2. And back to serve is Ainsworth. And this time it's a misfire up there at the net as Daniel Lee sends this one long.
So a couple hitting errors, a couple bad passes, a couple service errors, and put Loyola down 4 points. The Dons are just playing very steady volleyball right now, running their middles when they can, and making good defensive plays and also good passes off serve.
And Ainsworth goes for the jump serve. It'll go back over to Loyola, 23-20 now.
Maybe I jinxed them there.
Yeah, maybe so.
Well, they just need to come back with another good pass here. And here you have a good blocking lineup for Loyola. So Hutz missed his serve last time. He's definitely going to want to get it in here.
You talk about that big front line, and it's one-on-one, Yost against Anderson, and Anderson's a great position.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably Loyola's best blocking 3 blockers up at the net right now. And, so when Hutz missed his serve last time around, it really cost him maybe 1, 2, or 3 points. We'll see what happens here.
And IPFW will gladly take the service error at a 24-21 lead. Boy, that is an intimidating line when they get those 3 up front.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just can't go missing your serve when you got a block like that up.
24-21, the crowd getting into it here as the Dons try and close in on victory to even things up. CJ Macias on the serve. And they will take that.
It's a great serve by CJ, high and deep, hitting the passers deep, and it forces a timeout.
Shane Davis is seated up. He wants to regroup, try and get his team back in it. 25-21 here at the Gates Center. IPFW in control of game 2. Artie Ball having a quick conversation over there, and I guess if you're Coach Ball, obviously not too happy about one issue out there, but in terms of this game, he's got to be pleased that things have gone pretty well.
Well, everybody on the floor is doing something good. CJ might not be hitting well, but he's playing good defense and he's serving well. He's getting really good production out of his middle hitters. He's getting good defense out of most of the players. Yost is taking some good swings. Ulrich is serving good. So everybody's doing something good. And so it's a team effort right now. This 25-21 lead is a team effort thanks to everybody chipping in where they can. You saw before Coach Ball talking to Graydon Ainsworth, and that's one of the big changes from last year's team to this year's team is the one major player they lost was Colin Lundeen, the starting setter for IPFW last year. And so even though Graydon Ainsworth is a senior, this is his first time really ever running a team, running an offense.
Yeah.
So it's just been a big learning curve for him this year. And again, like I said earlier, Coach Ball gets his team to peak at the right time, and that's playoff time. So this is a work in progress, this team. They're just trying to get everything to click at the right time.
Yeah, you like to turn to the senior, but the senior didn't have a lot of experience being the quarterback.
No.
Macias all pumped up with the crowd, and Ramblers handle it. And that's the big left-hander Anderson on the kill to get it right back for Loyola.
Just what you want to do out of a timeout is execute perfectly.
Joe Guntley, the junior, to serve for the Ramblers, who trail this one by 3. And just one of those at the net. Ainsworth tried to get it back, but a tough position to be in there.
Right, and he's setting from the back row, which means he's not allowed to jump and play the ball over the net at all. And there he had to reach over onto Loyola's side, which is illegal.
Dons handled the jump serve, and Loyola, a nice play off the kill from Yost.
Here's a big opportunity for the Dons.
And they take advantage as well, put it away for Brock Ulrich, and chalk up another kill for him.
Hey, when you chip a ball over the net like Loyola did, it's called a free ball. And the reason it's called a free ball is it should hypothetically be a free point for the other team because they should be able to make an easy pass, a perfect set, and a good swing. And that's exactly what can happen off a free ball. You're sort of at a way disadvantage if you're the team sending the free ball over.
That's Mike Marisi on the serve, and Loyola's going to chalk up the point. Kind of a floater across the net, and we're now at 27-23.
And Anderson just got himself 2 kills in a row, both by tooling the block out of bounds. And I got to wonder if that's something that Coach Shane Davis talked to him about.
Substitutions for the Dons as they lead by 4 here in game number 2, trying to even things up here at the Gates Center.
Look for Yost to probably get a swing here as he's hitting against the smallest blocker on Loyola's side, and that's Cambros.
Macias in the back row, and it's Steve Rogers to serve things up. Macias handles it. Boy, nice block for the Ramblers. And a good block. The Dons get 2 there. We talk about, the 6-footer trying to hit over 2 6'7" guys, and they were in position.
And when you're a 6-footer, you're actually your strategy changes the way it's different than others. The best way for a player like Cambros to score is to do just that: hit it off the block and out of bounds. It's called tooling the block.
And another big call change there. They'll give the point to the Ramblers, make it 26-25. Anybody's game at this point.
Oh, absolutely. What the call was there is saying it went off the block and then hit the antenna. What the Dons were hoping for was that it hit the antenna before it hit the block. But the call on the floor is it hit the block, then the antenna, so point Ramblers. And again, look for Cambros. That's going to be his best way to score. He's small. Even though he jumps well, he's going to have a huge block sitting on him. So the best way to do it is wipe it off the hands, get it to go out of bounds.
Saw Coach Ball talking to Graydon Ainsworth once again on the bench there. What does he tell him at this point?
I think he's going to ask him to try and get the ball to Yost. I think he's going to tell him to try and make the most hittable set and not be fancy here at this point. Just give his team a chance to get a point. Not to make it more difficult for the hitters, but make it easier for the hitters. There's a term in volleyball called bettering the ball. Just make the ball better for the next player who has to touch it.
26-25, IPFW, certainly we talked about before, had the 4-point lead. The Ramblers have played their way back in. They'll serve things up here down by 1. That is Steve Rogers.
3 of their last 4 kills have been tools, by the way, hitting it off the block and out of bounds. So maybe a strategy change for Loyola.
Well, and if you're familiar, obviously this is not tennis where you replay those.
No.
And unfortunately for the Dons, that's the case because just kind of a case of bad luck. If that's 2 inches lower, that's our point.
Exactly. That is very bad luck. I mean, sometimes it'll hit the net and bounce up and you can still play that, but that thing came right down along the net.
It was like a knuckleball when it hit the net. And, now we've got a 26-all game as we will race to 30 here. Don's hoping to control the serve. A big-time serve.
Tough pass. Yost is going to have to bail him out. All right.
Boy, a nice block at the net. It looked like it was Stewart that got his left hand on that one.
Great block. Cambros only had one way to go with that ball, and that was angled based on where the set was coming from. It was coming from the middle back of the court, and Stewart just dropped that left hand in and took that angle away. Very nice block.
Jason Yost with a big chance here for the Dons to take a 2-point lead. Ramblers handle it, and you got to figure about 85% of the time you set Anderson up like that, you're going to be successful.
Absolutely. And that's Anderson's 9th kill of the night.
I think we showed the graphic. He's only averaging 4 a game, but...
Well, 4 games is a pretty good average.
And the Ramblers had 2 at the net, but...
Just saying it came down on Loyola's side. which is a point for the Dons.
Nick Lamoureux not agreeing with the call, but nonetheless 28-27 IPFW. And maybe a little frustration. Lamoureux wasn't too happy with the last call. Mishits this one, and IPFW make it a game point.
And as good as Lamoureux has been playing, that's the wrong time to make a hitting error to give the other team game point.
Crowd is on their feet as Brock Ulrich serves for the game.
Good serve.
And Lamoureux again. Boy, what a strong finish for IPFW. They take game 2, 30-27. The crowd is on their feet. And a big finish when the game was on the line.
Oh, absolutely. Huge block by Stewart. They were sitting on that. They knew it was either going to go to Anderson or Stewart.
We're going to head to break now. We are tied at 1 as IPFW takes game 2, 30-27. Much more action with Coach Florio and Ryan Elijah here at the Gate Center.
I guess I'm like most kids. I work hard, I go to class, and I want a degree that's going to mean something. I had offers from other universities, but I wanted the best out of my college choice. I wanted a great education and the campus life to go with it. Student housing, Division I sports, I found it all right here at IPFW. Hey, this is my university, my life, so it's got to feel right. I'm really glad I chose IPFW. I love it here. Go to their website.
Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne, one university, two great names.
This is the training manual for a 747. And these are all the documents the average homeowner signs at closing. Now, no one climbs into the cockpit of a 747 without knowing this inside and out. On the other hand, most people don't even read these, even though they're making the biggest purchase of their lives. In all fairness, it's not easy reading. That's why the Mortgage Bankers Association made this, the Simple Facts. Something you can read and actually understand long before closing. It is not a sales tool. And because it was created by the Mortgage Bankers Association, it doesn't promote any single bank or type of mortgage. It's just designed to help you get the mortgage that makes the most sense for you. Get your copy at homeloanlearningcenter.com. That's homeloanlearningcenter.com. The Simple Facts. The name says it all.
Life is good. But with a master's degree from IPFW, it could be even better. You could land a promotion, earn more money, become a leader in your field. And IPFW makes it easy. With affordable tuition, night and weekend classes, and more than 20 graduate programs from business to education to public affairs and more. Become the master of your future. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. Your graduate university.
.27 was the final in game 2, so we are right back where we started, tied up at 1 apiece now is the IPFW crowd. And we talk about, we were talking about a very boisterous crowd with a lot going on tonight as well with boys sectionals, and good to see just a solid crowd on here to cheer on the Dons as they fall in game 1 and come back in game 2. When you look at the numbers, Coach, what do you see?
Well, looking at the numbers, IPFW raised their hitting percentage from 219 to 391. Again, let's just remember the batting average. 300 is solid in baseball, and so it's solid in volleyball too. It's very, very similar. So 391 is great. While Loyola was hitting 444 for the game in game 1, they were able to, the Dons were able to get Loyola down to 323. And there's a difference. They out hit Loyola, and that was a big deal. But Loyola also missed 8 serves in game 2.
Yeah, it started to add up. I mean, obviously, when you get Ian Anderson, some of those big hitters, open hits, they're going to put those away. But
Absolutely.
I think the serves made a difference, and they made a nice run at the end of game 2. IPFW takes that timeout and really dominates the final few points.
Absolutely. They missed 8 serves. In game 1, they only missed 3 serves. Yeah. So that's a huge difference right there. Looking at more of the numbers, the Dons are getting a lot of production out of a lot of players. 3 kills from CJ, 6 kills from Brock, 4 kills from Oliver, 5 kills from Josh Stewart. So everybody's chipping in, and 9 kills from Jason Yost. you don't see just one player having a huge amount of kills and everybody else just having 1 or 2. And so good job by Graydon Ainsworth in spreading it out and getting everybody involved when their big gun, All-American CJ Macias, is struggling a little bit.
And this is kind of the equivalent of halftime. When you're a coach in the locker room, what kind of changes can you make, or can you really adjust your game plan a lot?
Yeah, you definitely can adjust your game plan. You have time to look over matchups. A lot of times coaches will think about what's called rolling their lineup to rotate their lineup a few at the start, so maybe they have a different matchup, different blockers on different hitters. So like, for example, maybe they want to get, maybe Loyola might want to get Cambros away from the big block of Graydon Ainsworth. Yeah. That might be one thing Loyola tries to do. The other thing I noticed is Loyola started to tool the block towards the end of the game. So maybe they're in there talking, hey, let's tool the block more. And if I'm IPFW, I'm saying let's stay right here. Let's keep spreading out. Let's keep getting production from everybody we can. And let's keep passing the way we're passing.
You know, if you're Coach Shane Davis, I mean, how much do you change considering you've kept IPFW's big player with a negative hitting percentage? And some of the highlight reels now from IPFW, and we see certainly they've gone down the middle. They've attacked a lot, but IPFW contain that more throughout the game.
Oh, absolutely. And IPFW was serving tough and getting Loyola out of system, so they weren't able to run their middle as much probably as they wanted to. And then IPFW found an answer or two for Ian Anderson, which made a difference.
9 kills. Is that what he finished the 2 games with so far?
So far, yeah, 9 kills.
Which is about his average. You talked about 4 a game, and you know, he's certainly hurt the Dons, but that's a guy you know he's going to get their points, and you try and contain that as well. We're going to take a break now with
well, what we see here is seeing there's an example of working from in system, and there you have an example of a good middle attack. And then again, in system here, good middle attack. In system again, meaning the setter doesn't have to really run to set the ball, it can just stand there and let the ball come to him. There's out of system.
Yeah, just a tough hit, and the Dons are able to convert on that. But
when you can convert when you're out of system, that's a really great job by the team. It's like a quarterback connecting with the receiver even though he's scrambling.
Yeah, you get the quarterback's leg moved, and it makes it a little more difficult. One of the many good blocks. The Dons play some good defense, especially toward the middle and the end of game number 2.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that last rotation Loyola was in, they had Lamoureux in the middle and Cambros on the left side, and then the setter was front row. So you know it's not going to go to Cambros, so it's either going to go front row to Lamoureux, or they're going to kick it back to Anderson. So when you only have 2 hitters to worry about, it makes it a little easier to block.
What adjustments will be made by both teams? We are tied at 1 apiece. We'll be back with highlights from Game 3 live at the Gates Center here at IPFW.
That book was all right. But the next book. You know, if she continues to spill product at a rate of 3 per hour, unit cost, say 60 cents. Factor in breakage, downtime, lost sales. You're looking at $2,400 a month. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. 1 university, 2 great names.
What do triglycerides or trigs have to do to get noticed? Heart disease and stroke? Really? We should pay her more attention. Normal triglycerides are below 150. High triglycerides increase your risk of heart disease. And if you're a woman, that risk goes up even more. After standing in the shadows of good and bad cholesterol, triglyceride, also known as the forgotten fat, is ready to share the spotlight and the attention. Next time you have your cholesterol or blood fats tested, ask your doctor about the role triglycerides play in your heart health. Remember to ask your doctor about the good, the bad, and the forgotten fat. For more information on all of your blood fats, the good, the bad, and the forgotten, go to ForgottenFat.com. And remember, normal triglycerides are under 150.
This message brought to you by Sister to Sister, working together for healthy hearts.
And there's a live look here at the Gates Center. IPFW battling the conference rivals from Loyola University, the Ramblers. The Dons have controlled this series throughout the years, leading 17-9. We've got a battle tonight, and really we came in expecting a battle. Loyola comes out and plays well in game 1. IPFW gets right back and takes game 2 as well. As we break down game 3 with Coach Steve Florio, and we've made the adjustments now. What do you think IPFW comes out with?
Well, I think IPFW is going to stay right where they are, and they're going to continue to try and get more production out of CJ. But in the meantime, like I said before, just try and get everybody else to keep chipping in.
And those hitting percentage numbers have changed from game 1. They look a little lopsided. They were even more so early on.
Oh, sure. The Dons hit 219 in game 1, so right now on the match they're hitting 291. They improved. You know, you'll see 14 digs and 5 blocks there for IPFW and 11 digs and 3 blocks for Loyola on the match, and that's a difference right there. Talk about losing a game or winning a game by 2 or 3 points, and you look just to those numbers. A hitting percentage, just a little bit there, and a block here, a block there, it makes a difference.
The Dons huddle up here getting ready to go as we look at the kill leaders, and boy, it's a balanced attack for the visitors. Certainly the one name you don't see there is C.J. Macias.
Absolutely, but you see 998 for Loyola, but after that, if you look at the rest of the stats, there's nobody else that has any more than 3. You see 965, but then on the Don side, you also have Kook has 4, and Macias has got 3, and you know, Don's just playing some good volleyball. Everyone's chipping in, and they're not just chipping in where stats count, but they're chipping in on making smart plays out of system, not making unforced errors. Those types of things are just hard to keep stats on. There's really no stat for good serve receive passes, but the Dons have been making a lot of those. And when the Dons are out of system, they're just making really good choices and not giving up any free points.
Yeah, those are stats that show up more on the scoreboard and certainly in the coach's mind, because he knows the difference. Loyola will serve it up to start game 3. The Dons handle it.
So here's an opportunity for the Dons. Nice dig there.
Ulrich puts it in the back row. Dons cannot handle it, and despite a pretty good effort for a point there, it's going to be 1-0 right off the bat to Loyola.
Well, Dons had a sort of an opportunity there. They had a free ball coming for Loyola, but they had trouble handling it and couldn't pass the ball up to Graydon at the target.
Joe Guntley, the junior, serving it up for the visitors.
Here's an opportunity, free ball. Great set.
They go the other way, and Yost puts it away, but handled nicely. And there's Anderson with the kill, and wasn't the power, but...
Well, it was a great set by Ainsworth. He had 3 blockers all going one way. He just kicked the ball behind him and actually had no block. So great set, but even better dig when there's no block up.
Guntley trying to make it 3 in a row, and they are in position to do so. And that's Anderson. So a good start right out of the locker room for the Loyola Ramblers as they take a quick 3-0 lead in this one.
And what's going really well for Loyola right now is their transition game. They're playing defense, but then they're bringing the ball back in a challenging way. So
a scrappy team. We talked about only one senior, but they play a tough brand. Another nice serve. Macias coming from the back row, and that's the block we talk about.
Oh, they just, you know, you would think by game 3 and Macias not really having a great night, you'd think they wouldn't be camping out on him so much, but they still are, and he is frustrated.
Well, big start here, 4-0 as Joe Guntley continues to serve it. Another nice jump serve. They'll go to Stewart. And the Dons take the serve away.
Okay, so now the Dons have a little bit of a hole to work their way out of, but a good player to start is Ulrich. He has run points for the Dons almost every time he's gone back to serve.
Well, they had the double block on Anderson, but he puts it away, and it's 5-1 in favor of the visitors.
And he picks up his 12th kill, the 3rd already in this game. So Loyola's got 5 points, and 3 of those are from Anderson kills. Good dig. Very good dig. They're in system.
There comes Yost, and he'll put it away.
And what Graydon is doing right now is it's very smart. What he did earlier was called establishing your middle hitter, and that's running your middles a lot, and then when the team starts to really feel, oh, we've got to commit to the middle, he starts kicking it away from the middle.
Josh Stewart back to serve for the Dons. He'll go with the floater. Don's in great position for the block. Boy, 2 in a row. Can they do it again?
Free ball.
Boy, you hate to see that because 2 in a row, they play great defense, and I think just a little surprise there was Oliver Koop that came back over.
And you know, the Loyola Ramblers have sent 3 free balls over the net, and they have lived through all of them. IPFW has not scored on any one of the 3 free balls that Loyola sent over, and that's a problem.
Ian Anderson with a big jump serve. They'll go to Yost. And he puts it right down the line.
I love how Yost answers back to Anderson. I mean, both lefties are sort of just playing patty cake right now. Each one is taking their shots, and they're both scoring. It's sort of cool. It's a little call and response there.
That's a definite response. Graydon Ainsworth with a jump serve. 6-3, Don's behind.
And Anderson hits it outside the antenna, and so it's a point for the Dons. And, well, Anderson's the first lefty to break down. Now, see if Yost can answer back with a big swing. Macias is in the front row still. We've got Kook and Yost. Lots of hitters here for Graydon.
And there's Yost, handled by the Ramblers.
Great dig. Can they bring it back?
Oh, good save.
Okay, now they've got to hold for this free ball.
Suddenly the Dons back in control. And what a point for the Dons.
And that's a great job. Well, I'll tell you what, the Dons are doing a great job of staying with the middles, in particular Lamoureux. I think it's time for Hutz to try and start getting the ball to someone else. He's established his middles. The Dons are camping out on them.
Boy, the crowd appreciates that kind of effort. C.J. Macias with a big-time serve off the net.
Oh,
and Anderson just has enough power. Don's trying to dig it out of the third row, but just too tough.
Well, the intensity certainly has picked up here a little bit, hasn't it?
Oh, there's no question. It's just a different feel from game number 1.
It's all tied 1-1 in games, so this is an important game here. You definitely want to go up 2-1 in this situation.
Well, the Ramblers in control, but as we've seen in games 1 and 2, that can change in a hurry. Macias handles the serve. And that one's going to go over to the Ramblers.
And again, Graydon being back row is going to be called for invading or going over the other team's onto the other team's side. If he were front row, he would be allowed to turn and block that, but he's back row, so Dons have to keep the ball on this side of the net for him.
Yost pleading his case, but to no avail. It's 9-4.
And there you see Graydon, bad pass by the Dons. Graydon trying to force a really tough set instead of going back row to maybe Macias.
Arnie Ball's going to get a timeout. This is not the way he wanted to see game 3 number start with the 10-4 lead for Loyola's. We're going to keep it here for this timeout. And we're going to take a minute to thank the game sponsor as well. Of course, 816 Pint and Slice. They're at 816 South Calhoun Street here in Fort Wayne. For some fine pizza and some drinks as well, 816 Pint and Slice. 10-4, you talk about that adjustments. Have you seen anything different, or are they just maybe bringing a little more intensity right now?
Both teams are just playing really hard right now. Loyola is playing what we call scrappy defense. They're just fighting tooth and nail for every point, and it's working out for them right now. They got a 6-point lead. And the Dons need to make just some better choices here. That was not a good choice by Graydon. But I'll tell you, one thing about the Dons is Coach Ball, such a great coach, will never let his team give up, and they're not the type of team to ever give up. So this is certainly, there's plenty of time to come back from this lead. 10-4 is definitely, you can definitely come back.
Well, a big difference in experience. You've got the coach of decades, Arnie Ball, against a relatively young, talented coach in Shane Davis, and the team's IPFW certainly has the advantage and experience as well.
Sure, absolutely.
Jump serve handled by the Dons. They're going to set it up for Yost. Now they'll go inside. Yost will get his hands on it anyway.
Oh, what a great choice by Jason Yost to attack that ball.
Jason Yost says, if I don't get it, I'll just come find it myself anyway. Back into the game comes Josh Stewart for the Dons, who trail at 10-5.
So out of that timeout, the Dons went to Oliver Kook, so they're trying very hard to get the middles back involved, which was working for him in game 2.
Kook goes with the floater. Oh, and just a great block at the net by Brock Ulrich. They haven't been able to do that many times to Anderson, but they got him on that one.
We've got Dan Lease, who is a freshman, hitting middle, and they haven't been getting the ball to him very much. Nice choice by Ulrich.
Oh, nice shot by Ulrich.
He had the triple block on him, and he made a good choice to roll it over the top and put a changeup in there rather than hit it into the triple block. That's good, smart volleyball right there.
Crowd getting excited as IPFW slowly getting back into this one after spotting them an early 4-0 lead. Boy, a nice serve. And right there at the net is Jason Yost. We talk about that floater, and you can't play it any better than Coop did right there. And now it's Shane Davis who's going to take a timeout.
And, you know, great job of the Dons responding to the timeout by Coach Ball. They come out, the crowd is into it. A quick 4 points off good serving and some smart volleyball.
10-8 your score. If you haven't noticed a definite demeanor change, the coaches are very calm throughout this. Of course, if you want to be a part of the action we've talked about all night, just great fun to come out here. If you love volleyball, you got to do it. Mastodon tickets at 260-481-6000. You can also go online with gomastodons.com. And, of course, there are discounts for the Royal Dons member.
Well, here you see Guntley making a tough pass. This is what's called an overpass, when you pass it over the net, and Yost just doing a nice job of
not an easy
finishing.
shot.
No, it was just barely over, so he has to be careful to hit the ball and not make a net violation or get called for being over the net.
10-8 is your score. IPFW, of course, fell in the early 4-0 hole and was still down 4-5 just a few minutes ago. They've played their way right back into this now as Kook continues to serve. And they know the jump serve's not coming here, but they've got to handle the floater.
Yeah, and, you know, Loyola's got somewhat of a predictable offense right now because you've got Guntley on the outside and you've got Anderson coming from the back row on the right. Oh, and there's something we haven't seen all night, a setter attack.
Yeah, Mike Cutts with the...
I'm not going to lie, I wasn't expecting that either.
I wasn't either.
I was looking for Anderson to get it or Guntley to get it. Didn't see that one coming a mile away.
And he's going to serve it up now with the Ramblers in control at 11-8.
Good pass.
Oh, and a big swinging hit from Josh Stewart, who puts it away, much to the liking of the crowd.
And, you know, CJ, again, struggling offensively, but, you know, that's a good pass by him right there. There's more than one way to help your team, and you don't always have to be the big gun.
It's not all about the home run.
Nope.
Yost goes for the home run there, finds the net, and that'll give the Ramblers control.
But Dons have done a nice job of cutting a 6-point lead into a 3-point lead. See if they can get another good pass here and get Stewart revved up again.
Joe Guntley's had a good night, and he serves up another nice jump serve. Boy, that's nice. That's not an easy serve to handle.
No, not at all, especially since he's been running points for the Ramblers. They've been struggling with his serve.
And Josh Stewart having himself a nice game here in Game 3. The Dons now within 2.
Good dig.
Macias with a chance. Oh, and right down it goes. Just a nice piece of play in Graydon Ainsworth. Kind of a jump ball, if you will.
And you know what? You know, we see Macias swing, and we're always looking for him to bounce it, but that was a great swing. They had a triple block on him, and he did what's called hitting high hands and getting a high deflection deep.
There's the 6-footer. George Cambero's putting it away to give the Ramblers a 13-11 lead.
Just snuck it just on the outside of Graydon Ainsworth there. Going for that tool, but didn't have to get the tool. Good pass. Oh,
what a touch.
That is a beautiful shot. I mean, it's a great choice, but he executed it to perfection, too. Great roll shot by Jason Yost.
Yeah, a little smile on Jason Yost's face. He likes that finesse. We know he can hit it hard.
And, you know, that's going to make things easier for him down the road because now they're not going to know whether he's going to roll or hit it.
Well, Ian Anderson does not think about anything but the big kill there. Is 14-12 now the game. And, you know, we've talked about that. If he gets those kind of looks, that's what you're going to face.
He's pretty automatic when he's got a single block on him.
And this time a little bit long for Anderson, who serves it deep. And that'll put Graydon Ainsworth in control for the Dons.
So here you have Camberos in the front row, and you have Lamoureux in the front row for Loyola. So it's either going to probably go to Lamoureux or to Ian Anderson here. Good choice. Tough set, though.
Tough shot for Yost against the double block, and really couldn't get elevated much either.
No, it was a really good choice by Graydon. That's called setting against the flow when you're running one way and you kick the ball back the other. It just wasn't executed well. It was a tight set.
Dons look to get the serve back. They'll go outside, and they handle the Macias kill attempt.
Chance for the Dons.
And Yost will take it for the Dons, hitting it hard off that block.
So they get Loyola out of system, and then they're able to capitalize on the easy shot that Loyola sends over.
C.J. Macias trying to tie things up.
Good serve.
And right through the double block right there is the big junior Joe Guntley. We've called his name a few times.
Yeah, Guntley, that's his 10th kill, and he's hitting .450 on the day.
We'll talk about the big three for Loyola Chicago.
Starting to spread out there, starting to go to Anderson as much as possible, and that's going to work in the Dons' favor if it becomes too predictable.
And the Dons try to get the double block, but on the other side, Joe Guntley.
I think Oliver Koof's going to want to look to release more and go help out the outside blockers sooner. They've only set Dan Lease 5 times in the whole match so far, and that's number 15 on Loyola.
Boy, tough angle.
It's good strappy defense by both teams. Nice shot. Which team is going to settle down here and get the smart play?
Just kind of a tough break for the Dons as they get the shot from outside, and Ulrich can't get it over. And those are the kind of points, just, you know, gritty type game we've seen, you know, back and forth.
That's sort of Loyola's game right there. Loyola's sort of in their comfort zone when they can get you scrambling, because they don't mind scrambling.
A little bit of a run here for the Ramblers. They're up 18-14 as Lamoureux gets a good jump serve off. This time they're ready for the finesse from Yost.
And a net violation on IPFW.
Not sure it would have mattered with the heat he got on that one, but Artie Ball's going to get a quick timeout. It's 19-14 now. Boy, just like that, Loyola gets on a little run.
And that's the momentum we were talking about. But hey, IPFW did great things coming out of the last timeout that Coach Ball had. And again, I'm looking over at IPFW's bench, and Coach Ball is in Graydon's ear, and I think he's just talking about making better choices.
Yeah. Take a look at the conference standings. We talked about these teams virtually tied in the race, obviously, with a win here. IPFW will vault past the Ramblers and move into number 4 as well. Next week, number 1 and number 1 coming to town. Ball State and Ohio State will be a big weekend for the Dons, but you can't look past this one.
No, absolutely not. It starts here. And also tomorrow night's match, even though Quincy's 0-6, it's a chance to move up in the standings even a little more.
You know, you talk about the way, you know, certainly for a guy that didn't grow up in volleyball, where you go right to the setter. Is that kind of where it all starts, almost like bringing your quarterback over to the sideline?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, your setter's touching every second ball, and he's dictating who's hitting the ball, you know. Your offense runs through him. So, yeah, absolutely. You know, Coach Ball's talking to him about choices, really what it is right now for Graydon is Graydon just needs to concentrate on putting up a hittable ball. He doesn't need to be so tricky right now. He just needs to get his hitters good swings, and they haven't had so many in the last couple of attacks.
Big series here for the Dons, down 19-14. They're in position. They'll go outside. And a double block at the net. Boy, Ulrich comes right up, and what does he see but big 6'7" freshman Daniel Lease on the other side of the net.
And, and here's the difference right here. The Dons' ball control is broken down a little bit. They're not able to run their middles the way they were in game 2. Stewart hasn't had as many kills or opportunities. Cook either. Quality opportunities, I should say. And right now the Dons' offense is really predictable. I've seen triple blocks and double blocks almost every attack.
Dan McNerney back into the game for the Dons. We haven't seen him for a while, and the middle blocker from 6'7" junior Nick Lamoureux continues to serve as the Ramblers have quietly opened a 6-point lead. And that would be an ace down the side, and that'll get the bench excited at 21-14.
And Coach Ball is just sort of going the wholesale route here. He's taken out Coop, his starting middle. He's taken out Graydon Ainsworth, his starting setter. And now he's just taken out Jason Yost, his starting right side, and C.J. Macias, his starting outside.
Yeah.
So he's emptying his bench here, and he's going to give his young guys a chance to shake it up. I guess why not, right?
Yeah, why not? I mean, clearly he's not happy with what he's seen the last few minutes. And 21-14, boy, you can't put a serve much better than Mr. Lamoureux did just a few seconds ago.
Oh, no, just spinning one down the line there is just, that's just a great serve. It's hard to return when it's going away from the setter.
21-14, Don trying to get the crowd back into it. And they tried the double block on Mr. Anderson, but just too much heat out of the back row.
Really, what all this is rooting from right now is that just really having trouble handling Lamoureux's serve. Even when they pass it, it's not a great pass. So they need to settle down, get a good pass up for McNerney to handle, and then get things going again.
Well, he continues to serve up missiles on his jump serve. Boy, a nice hit right through the double block from Ulrich. Ulrich has been steady here through game 3. Back into the game comes in the big 6'8" Josh Stewart. And also we're going to see Nathan Berg for the first time tonight.
So that's the 5th starter for the Dons out of the game. So the only 2 starters left in the game right now is Brock Ulrich and Matt Plisky, the libero. So Coach Bull just trying to shake it up, get some life out of his team here.
Off the Steve Rogers serve. I believe we've got it down in the net, and we'll see a point go to the Ramblers.
Now, Coach Ball has done this not here at IPFW, but on the road. And I've heard that from on the road, it's worked out quite well. The team sort of gets fired up, new life in the team, and things get turned around.
Boy, a good dig there. But it's going to go back the other way.
But it seems things seem to be unraveling still.
24-15, we look at Coach Arnie Ball. He's got his arms folded at the end of the bench right now, looking for a spark here in game 3.
Good shot. Good.
Boy, Loyola just playing with an intense amount of energy.
Oh, yeah, and they're just sparking it with their jump serve. Lamoureux was just slinging him over, and now you've got Hutz slinging him over. I mean, they're just really firing it over the net.
Hutz continues with the jump serve, and boy, puts it in a tough spot. Nicely handled by the Dons. And for the first time tonight, there's Nathaniel Berg, the big 6'5" sophomore.
And Nate Berg there is sort of a hometown favorite. He went to Bishop Dwenger High School just down the road here from IPFW.
He is a Dwenger Saint.
That's right.
Boy, in good position off the Anderson kill. Big time hit. Something tells me Anderson's not quite as used to that shot.
No. And I'll tell you, so here, listen to this crowd getting into it. It's 25-17. IPFW is down 8 points, but the crowd is huge into it right now, and that's what these young guys do. Everyone gets really excited for these young guys when they get in the match.
It's been Duttworth. And suddenly, all of a sudden, even the crowd getting into it.
And win or lose this game, what's happening right now is really good, because if the Dons lose this game, they're going to enter Game 4 with some excitement, some momentum, some sort of chemistry going on. So right now, whatever's happening is real good.
And that is a big-time kill from Joe Guntley. Wanted the big three to make it 25-18, but clearly the last few minutes have seen a little bit of energy change here.
Yeah,
for the Dons.
exactly. You know, the gym is getting some energy, the team is getting some energy, and even if they lose this game, they're going to take it into Game 4.
And a tough serve to handle there. That's Brock Ulrich trying to go down. They put it right down the line. 27-18 your count. The Dons trailing by 9 here in Game 3. All even at 1.
The Dons need a couple of huge plays to get the energy back here. That's a huge play.
Boy, Nate Berg's had a nice little run here.
You know, he plays almost completely on hard work and positive attitude and adrenaline.
Yeah.
He's just a lot of fun to watch.
He is fun to watch.
He fires his team up because they could really get behind his enthusiasm for the sport.
Nice jump serve handled by the Ramblers, and this time Ian Anderson handled from the outside, and there's Nate Berg. Just a little bit wide.
It's great aggressive attack though. All right, Dons, again, you know, the likelihood of winning this game is not very good, but they can score a couple points here and enter Game 4 with momentum.
Boy, tough shot off the triple block. Ramblers in control.
All right. Obviously, you don't want to pack it in and say, no, we're not going to win this game, but the reality of it is still, this is a hard deficit to come back from. So you just want to keep stringing points, and if you win, great. If you don't, you've just made a nice comeback, and Game 4 is going to be a good start. Great dig.
Yeah, you'll take that. Well, just try to, Ben Duckworth tried with a floater. That's a tough spot. I guess that's the one you just want to get it over. But
right, it's just a tough set. I mean, McNerney's running like a wild man out there. He's doing the best he can. You know, it wasn't the greatest set, but that's all right. You got to put that ball over the block.
Ian Anderson will serve for the game. And they get it. So Game 3, not the way IPFW wanted to see this one end. 30-20, we will go to Game 4 with the Ramblers of Loyola leading 2-1. As we head to break here from the Gate Center, Game 4 coming up here with Coach Ford.
I've gone away to a college where the class size is small. I've gone away to a college with a beautiful campus.
I've gone away to a college that cares about diversity.
I've gone away to a college where I get to live in my own apartment instead of living in a dorm room.
I've gone away to a college that really isn't that far away at all.
I go to IPFW.
IPFW.
I go to IPFW.
To find out more about college life at IPFW, go to our website. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, two great names.
Power's out, but your food safety plan is on. Don't open the fridge. Foods will be safe for up to 4 hours if the door stays closed. Keep the freezer shut too. If it's full, the food will stay frozen for about 2 days. When power returns, make sure freezer foods have ice crystals and check fridge foods with a food thermometer to make sure they're at 40 degrees or below. If not, or if there's any doubt, throw it out. Learn more at www.askkaren.gov or call the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Meat and Poultry Hotline at 1-888-MP Hotline.
What's it like when you hear your calling? Will you remember where you were? Will you ignore it? Or will you listen? What if it calls you to go halfway around the world? To share your skills, to serve people you've never met, to do things you never thought you could. What will you do when you hear your calling? Peace Corps, life is calling. How far will you go?
Back live to the Gates Center as the Ramblers of Loyola Chicago take game 3, 30-20. That's now 2-1 as we head to game 4. The teams have switched benches, and IPFW ready to come out here in game 4. And boy, Coach Florio, we look at the stats, and 175 the hitting percentage for IPFW in game 3.
Oh yeah, you know, the ball control and tough serving. You don't almost want to blame IPFW's serve receivers. You want to credit Loyola's really, really tough serving. And that's what going after it does, is you force bad passes. Well, you look, Loyola's got 50 kills, IPFW was 41. Big difference there, though, is the 353 hitting percentage to the 242. You can link the hitting percentage right to the ball control.
Yeah, I didn't sense a drop in energy. It felt like Loyola picked it up. We'll see. You know, but we don't want to see what we saw last game, and that's Loyola come out on a run. IPFW will start serving this one with Brock Ulrich.
And you know, Loyola is it's a high risk, high reward situation. They're firing their serves over. They're willing to miss serves because if they get them in, what's happening is a big reward, out of system or aces. And it looks like Coach Ball's going to stay with that lineup he finished with.
Yeah, we had some questions. Would the starters come back in? And that's a great way to start it right there off the double block. Chalk up the block for Steve Rogers.
Well, if you're Loyola, you want to be careful. You don't want to look and say, oh, these are all the bench guys, because the bench guys are really excited to be in.
Absolutely.
So they're going to play with more energy than the starters were, probably.
And they're doing it with defense early on. Oh, nice kill. That's Ben Duckworth, the big 6'5" freshman.
And I'll tell you what, Steve Rogers getting his hands on everything right now. Steve Rogers there in the middle, number 12.
Made a good decision. It looked like he was going to go for the big swing and send it back.
He was almost a little overexcited, but really contained himself there.
So game 4 off to a good start for the Dons.
Whoop. And that's a sort of a missed opportunity because it looked like it was about to be a misconnection, but Steve Rogers got a little overzealous and caught himself in the net there. He could taste that block.
Ian Anderson to serve things up for the Ramblers of Loyola, down 2-1.
Good pass.
Well, that's textbook right up until the double block.
Well, Daryl Shank, you know, he actually he's got a real heavy arm. He's just got to sometimes know when he's got a block in his face and hit it out of bounds. And as a freshman, that's just going to take some time to learn. Good pass.
They'll go outside. Boy, that's Daryl Shank putting some heat on that one.
And that's what a good pass does for you. The middle blocker, Lamoureux, had to stay with Steve Rogers, and that made a one-on-one situation for Shank, and with a guy with a heavy arm like that, he's going to finish.
Boy, Nate Berg back in the game, and he's bringing the intensity instantly. Played real solid in his minutes in game 3. And we talked about the 6-foot kill machine. That's George Caveras right there. Fun player to watch. Maybe not so much if you're already balling that shot. But.
Hey, so far though, this gym, the intensity in this gym is way up. The energy is way up.
Good dig. They'll go far side. There's Nate Berg taking a swing at it. Loyola returns it. And the point goes to the Dons.
And Ramblers are trying to say there was a touch, but no touch. Ball goes out.
I thought there was, but there's one opinion that matters in the gym now. IPFW up 4-3. Oh, what a great effort by Dan McNerney, but it still goes the other way.
You've got to appreciate the energy on the Don side of the net right now. You got to really appreciate the young guys coming in and playing their hearts out right now.
Nick Lamoureux, of course, he had the big string of serves last game.
Tough serve, but a good pass. And there's the tool shot I was talking about before. You know, when Shank's got a double block on him, he does want to look to go down the line or get it off the block, and that's a nice swing by Shank.
Shank puts it away, and he'll continue to serve things up for the Dons. And so back it goes the other way at 5-all. And when do we see Macias? When do we see Yost? Does he let this roster run it out?
I don't know. I mean, right now, I wouldn't change a thing at the moment. Not with the, sometimes in this sport, it's about how hard work and the energy you bring, and not so much the talent.
Well, this group's playing with it. There's no doubt about that. And they'll win this point as well. From the outside is Brock Ulrich.
I mean, I've seen teams in the women's game who are outsized and maybe outmatched in power and height, but they just play so hard and aggressive and don't ever give up, and that makes a difference.
And Daryl Shank floats one in the back, and if you haven't seen it, of course, when there's an ace, they've got to celebrate on the bench. And suddenly, IPFW up 7-5. This group's playing with a lot of energy. Correct that, Nate Berg with the floater. IPFW in position as well. Just a little too much
net
energy.
Violation, no. That's a break for the Dons. Ian Anderson's in the net. And
suddenly a nice little run.
Yep. It's very exciting in here right now. It's good change.
Boy, Nate Berg continues to bring the energy. IPFW with an opportunity. And it's in.
And you know what? That's another good break for the Dons. That's a diggable ball. But Loyola tries to think it's out, and it's in. And you know they say the harder you work, the luckier you get. Well, right now the Dons are working real hard, and they're getting some good breaks.
Shane Davis was hoping to avoid the timeout, but he'd seen it out for that run. And you can, of course, go to the web, gomastodons.com. Check out not only men's volleyball, but all the sports. Of course, the spring sports getting ready to start. And we are loud here at the Gates Center as IPFW's on a run.
Oh, yeah, and, it's hard to answer energy. There's no strategy to stopping energy if you're Loyola. Because you can say, well, this guy's really killing us, so let's put a triple block on him. Or this guy's having trouble passing, so let's serve him. But what do you do about a team that's just playing with all their heart?
Yeah. And you talked about it when we were at 5-5, asked did they break the big guns in. This group's played great. They're playing with energy. They're playing scrappy. They've gotten a couple breaks.
Yep. We've said that this sport, we've said a few times, this sport relies a lot on momentum. And, the energy right now is in Don's favor. And, it's because of guys like Nate Berg. I mean, I have the pleasure of coaching our women's team practices right next to the men's team. And we get to watch some of their practice, maybe while girls are getting water or after we finish up. And Nate Berg is just one of the hardest workers out there all the time, and the guys on the team love it about him.
Well, you can see it when he comes on the floor.
Yep.
I mean, he's played with that energy. He's continued to serve. Another one that gives him not a great chance. And haven't called Ian Anderson's name for a while, but not the easiest shot he's had all night.
No, that's his 18th kill of the match, by the way.
And we're at 9-6 as Joe Guntley's going to serve things up.
Good set.
And Ben Duckworth getting a swing in as well to put the Dons up 10-6.
And, if Coach Ball does have to go to one of his starters, hopefully they can come in and join in on the enthusiasm. And one thing I forgot to mention is they also changed liberos. They took Plisky out of the jersey and put Mike Marisi in.
Marisi is back in. Just does catch the back line for the Ramblers. How different is it with obviously Ainsworth not in the game? You've got a different setter. Is this group used to playing off that?
Well, actually, no, because when they practice, Graydon practices with the starting six. So these guys that are on the floor are all the sort of what you would call the second team, if you will. So they all are used to playing with one another. McNerney sets the other side of the net, and these guys all play with McNerney. The only one, actually, that doesn't really play much with McNerney is back there serving right now, and that's Brock Ulrich.
Brock Ulrich, he just keeps racking up the points, and certainly is a comfortable six on the floor. They are in control, up 11-7.
in a way, this is a group that plays together all the time.
Yeah, they're used to it.
Yep, they're on the same side of the court every single practice, all the time.
Well, up high goes Nick Lamoureux for the kill, and back in control are the Ramblers.
And you know, again, another big play would be huge right now for the Dons, just to keep the energy level high, because it's starting to pan out just a bit.
Nice serve handled by the Dons.
There you go.
And just wide.
And that's a good angle by Shank. He had a triple block on him. And he hits, it's called a 4-to-4 cut, and he gets the tool, the opposite side tool.
So Steve Rogers serves it up with the Dons in the lead at 12-8. He'll go with a floater. And that's about as solid as we've seen Cambros hit one all night.
Yeah, McNerney just didn't do a good job of fronting his hitter. He knows it. That's okay. Again, we talked about if you're not doing one thing well, you do another thing well. McNerney is just doing a great job making some really tough sets.
They'll send it all the way across the court, and putting it away is Daryl Shank.
These guys are just riding on pure adrenaline right now, and it's so exciting. And McNerney's just chucking it up, and the hitters are just going and taking big swings. Really exciting.
Boy, interesting pass, and just a terrific block.
And, you know, and the things that the Dons are doing well are things that hard work counts. Blocking. You've got to work really hard to put up a good solid block, and these guys are rushing to close the block. They're going up real strong, and that's all hard work.
Well, it's enjoyable to watch this group play right now, I'll tell you that. Ian Anderson, what is that, 20 on the night for him?
Almost. That's it. Yeah, that's 20.
That's 20.
I'm losing count. He's racking them up 20. So quickly.
Still 14-10, Dons in control. Of course, Lamoureux's been one of the better servers in the game tonight.
Absolutely. He ran a lot of points in game 3. Again, still trouble. Okay, good job by Ulrich to keep it in play.
And a passing error will give it to the Dons.
And you know what? That's what keeping the ball in play does, is it gives you a chance to stay in the rally, and it gives the other team a chance to make mistakes.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happens for the Dons. It's 15-10 now, halfway home. Nice serve. And there's Anderson, even not with the ideal shot, he's able to put it away.
21 and counting.
Well past his average of 4 on the game. Mike cuts the freshman with a jump serve.
Great pass by Ulrich. Tough set.
Well, and just a textbook block waiting for him on the other side.
Oh, yeah. You know, sometimes that's called a trap set, T-R-A-P, because the hitter gets trapped. He really has nowhere to go with it. The block can sit on him, and that's just what happened there. And, you know, McNerney's just been making a lot of brave sets, and he needs to keep doing it. It's okay if 1 or 2 don't make it.
Well, this time they try and hit over 3 arms. They get it over, but it's into row 7, and Arnie Ball's going to take a timeout. He senses momentum is changing a little bit here, 15-13. We're going to take a break. We'll come back live here from the Gates Center.
Everything you need, paper, pencils. We only ask that you do your best. I made you a snack.
Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, 2 great names.
Is your score in game number 4 here. IPFW trying to wrap things up. And boy, don't be misled by the shot of the crowd. They have been on their feet throughout this game 4. They're liking what they're seeing here from the Dons as they try and hold on for a hard-fought victory here in game number 4.
And, you know, that's a great timeout by Coach Ball, you know, not letting Loyola run back and tie it up, trying to nip it in the bud, stop the bleeding, and, you know, settle his young guys down and just, you know, keep them working hard, but, you know, tell them not to get silly now.
Mike cuts with a jump serve. The Dons will attack it. Well, that was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
And waiting for him at the net, not only Nathaniel Bird, but also Ben Duckworth.
And that ball probably would have been about 5 feet out of bounds, but Cambros helped the Dons out by digging in anyway.
And so Nate Berg back to serve at 16-13.
It's still in play, and not anymore.
Simply ran out of gym there. 16-14 now the score. Joe Guntley's had a solid night. He'll try and get the Ramblers 1 point closer.
He sure has. He's got 16 kills on the night, and he's also been serving well. Good pass by Ulrich.
Oh, just a big-time kill. That's Ben Duckworth, and we've seen some good swings out of him.
Oh, no doubt. Shank and Duckworth have just been really terminal from the pins. That's a good thing.
We'll see if Duckworth can carry it over to his jump serve.
Nice block by Steve Rogers.
Right back at it. This time the Dons can't handle it.
Cambros changed his angle from the first swing and cut the ball a little more and got the inside tool.
Back and forth we go, and that one is just wide.
Loyola disagreed, but
Ramblers thought they had an ace on their hands.
And good server, Ulrich, with some aggressive blockers at the net here. Steve Rogers getting his hands on a lot.
Nice serve.
Chance here.
They'll go to Anderson.
Nice dig by McNerney. What are they going to do with this?
And 3 red shirts waiting for Daryl Shank at the net. Boy, you hate to see that. You handle the dink from Anderson, you're in control.
Yep.
17-16, the Ramblers trying to tie things up, and Ian Anderson's been a part of many of the rallies tonight.
Oh!
Jump ball at the net. And McNerney wins it.
And anytime your setter can win a joust, it's so exciting. That's what we call a joust, when 2 players go up and play the ball at the exact same time. And, you know, good finish by McNerney, just being stronger and finishing and keeping his hand on the ball just a little longer.
Well, he's got his back to the ball. That's a tough shot.
Very tough.
A great win.
And that's one of those plays that can just keep the momentum going. Such an exciting type of play when you see a player win a joust.
We do see Jason Yost back in the game as he serves up the jump serve. That's one of those tough breaks. You know, it catches the speaker, and there's not much you can do about it.
It was really a nice effort there, and Yost is out. So Yost was brought in to be a server, and so there's one player we know we will not see for sure for the rest of this game at least, because once you go in and come out, you can't come back in again.
Nathaniel Berg trying to hit through the block. And mission accomplished. They'll take the point. 2017, Arnie Ball applauds his team out there. I think he's happy with what he's seen.
You know, and Nate Berg playing middle hitter for the Dons, it's just so perfect for him, because that position, middle hitter, is such an important position to work hard in. It's a workhorse type position. Sometimes you get very little reward because you got to block, transition, you might not get set, but you always got to be moving, and he's just the right guy to have for that position.
McNerney serves it up, but on the other side, it's going to be Joe Guntley with yet another kill. 2018, back and forth we go here in game number 4. Don's trying to hold on and force a decisive 5th game. And they didn't like the last call. This one apparently catches the line. Arnie Ball in disbelief over there. You know, the coach is right on the line. I think you had a pretty good view of that one.
Tough break in the home gym.
Lamoureux has made his presence felt with the serve. And this time it's right on the line. What's some big points here when you're talking about 21-19?
It's getting really tight. It's getting really intense. Any close ball is going to be argued one way or the other by each team.
Shank with the jump serve, handled by the Ramblers. Here comes Anderson again.
All right, that ball's alive. They got to stay with it. All right.
Nice save.
Look for the ball to go to the middle here. Oh, Marisi with the big dig.
It's too bad because they were, they handled Guntley, they handled Anderson.
Well, you know what? Even though they lost that point, they sent a message. They just said, hey, this is how hard you're going to have to work to beat us.
Yeah. Well, and the crowd applauds. They understand what just happened.
Yep.
And that is some nice timing for a service error.
And when you play really aggressive defense, really scrappy defense, you make the other team try and be more perfect. They try and hit the better shot, and that's where errors start to happen.
22-20, little floater sent over the way of Loyola. And anything but a floater sent back from Ian Anderson.
He had the one-on-one situation, and again, he's just going to be automatic in those situations. 22 for Ian Anderson.
Back comes Joe Guntley, certainly the second best weapon on the night.
It's still in play. Still in play. And the Dons are going to catch a break and get a replay as that ball hangs up in the curtains that are used to divide the courts. And looks like Loyola's going to question the replay call. They're going to say if that ball hadn't hit the curtain, it would have been out.
Yeah, Shane Davis pleading his case as it gets stuck in the curtain, but...
And the answers to that is the curtains are in a playable area, therefore that ball has to be a replay.
So 22-21 still our score and a definite break for the Dons.
Good pass on a tough serve. Good high swing over to triple block.
Anderson tried it on the other side. Brock Ulrich said, I don't think so.
And the Dons just holding on to this small lead they have, doing a nice job of handling the really tough jump serves. It's not perfect, but it's good enough.
They've done it all with some of the big hitters on the bench, continue to play a feisty style, and that one is just wide to the left, and back in control go the Ramblers.
There is some error sort of expected and accepted here, and because if you're going to go for it, there's always the risk of messing up, but that's what they want to do is go for it.
Right back the other way. Michael Maurice. It's a little easier to hit that jump serve into the net. The floater doesn't look quite as good.
Yeah, when you're on the ground, you don't want to miss.
Good solid serve back the other way. They said Anderson.
Oh, Don's had an opportunity there. He mistimed it and just sort of paintbrushed it over. But maybe that's why it scored, because they were waiting for the big swing.
Yeah, it's not very often that Anderson won't serve it up, but lately, though, he's been going with the finesse, trying to keep him guessing.
Sort of, that's going back to baseball, there's that changeup after a fastball, you know?
Makes that fastball even harder.
That's right. Knee buckler.
24-23, anybody's ball game here in game number 4.
Good cover, plenty of room. All right, just some big defense here. Look for Lamoureux.
Oh, what an effort. What an effort. That's about as good a point as you're going to see. Wow. Unfortunately, about 3 inches wide. I'm not sure who took one in the face there, but that is taking a big-time kill.
Well, it's feisty, and Loyal's going to try and be more perfect. It's going to work for the Dons.
Oh, just a nice touch at the net. Steve Rogers, big 6'6" senior. Crowd on their feet now is.
Well, here's a good chance for the Dons. You've got the setter, Hutz, up, so you know he probably won't be attacking, and you got Lamoureux and Cambros.
Oh. Cambros has really had some solid hits.
He's making a living hitting off the blocker's hands, and IPFW's got to be aware of that. They got to know he's going to try and hit my hands. I got to be strong up top and direct it back into the court.
And that one sails long off the hit of Daryl Shank. And Artie Ball's going to get a timeout here, 26-25. Suddenly, Loyola Chicago finding themselves back in the lead in this one.
Well, you know, just Loyola still bringing the tough serve. And, you know, the Dons are not getting aced by it, but they're putting the ball up high in the middle of the court, and then there's a triple block on the Dons hitters. So look for Shank, Duckworth to try and go back to angles, which was what working for them before. Also, we see C.J. Macias there. You got to wonder when is Coach Ball going to think to go to one of those guys? Maybe
by the look in C.J.'s eye, he doesn't expect to come back in anytime soon. But what we shall see. 26-25. When you look over and look at the six warming up, it's not the normal group you'd see. But you know, this group's played strong, and you know, just now Loyola's taken the lead back.
But don't count these Dons out. I mean, they're going to come back out of this timeout fired up, I'm sure. And this is their big chance. If you're one of those guys that usually is on the bench, this is your big chance to prove that you belong on the floor.
26-25, you'd have to count this as a huge point for the Dons, trying to get the serve back. You know the jump serve's coming from Cambros.
You got to wonder if he's going to go for it or take something off it.
I think he's going to serve one up.
Good single block.
Nicely handled by the Dons, and they'll tie things up.
Great set by McNerney. The middle jumped with Nate Berg, leaving a single block on the outside. I believe that was Shank who had the kill.
Daryl Shank. And so McNerney back to serve for the Dons. We're all tied at 26.
McNerney's got sort of an unorthodox jump float, but it's sometimes effective there.
And we've seen that a number of times tonight. Joe Guntley just with the big crossover spike there, and 27-26, and now you got to face the guy that's really been one of the better servers on the court tonight.
It's sort of bad timing for the Dons for probably the best server on Loyola to go back at 27-26.
And as we say that, he serves it long.
I just try to help any way I can. If I need to throw a jinx out, I will.
Boy, that is a key misfire right there. Tied at 27, we'll go back to Daryl Shank for the Dons.
There's an opportunity.
And two misfires in a row as Joe Guntley misfires, and Shane Davis going to get a quick timeout as he shrugs his shoulders on that one.
Well, that pass was not a very good pass by Loyola. The setter had a set from the 10-foot line, and it wasn't a great set, and it was a misfire.
There are your national standings. Penn State, the Nittany Lions, 16-0 on the season. You see IPFW 15th. Of course, Loyola Chicago right there 2 spots ahead at number 13. And Ball State, the opponent next week, and Ohio State also next week's opponent in there as well.
Yeah, and you know, see Penn State at the top 16-0. They'll be coming to town in a few weeks. And Coach Ball was telling me that he doesn't think that anybody will beat them all season. He thinks they'll stay undefeated right into the Final Four.
Thinks they're that good. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. You look at that 6 and 5 of the top 6 are West Coast teams.
Yeah, that's sort of how it goes. Yeah, that's sort of why last year in the Final Four, especially being held at Ohio State University, it was such a big deal for IPFW to be playing in the finals. Pretty much the entire crowd was rooting for IPFW because they wanted to see a Midwest team win instead of a West Coast team.
Yeah, and circle April the 12th on your calendar. That's when the Nittany Lions will come to town.
All right, so huge point here. Really keep it in. Let the magic continue to work for the Dons. Don't give any easy outs to Loyola. All right.
Got an opportunity. We've seen that, and the Dons get the block on it.
This is a chance. They can convert here.
Oh, great shot. Brock Ulrich, not the easiest shot.
No, that set came from about 15 feet off the net. That's definitely an out-of-system play and a hard play, but you got to give it to Daryl Shank there. He did a great job of running that ball down and bringing it way back into the court to let McNerney still run an offense.
And the crowd is on their feet. Daryl Shank will try and serve it into a fifth game.
I think we might see Anderson out of the back row here. Oh.
Boy, you got to feel, because you know what you're going through as a player.
Yeah.
You know, the crowd's going crazy, and luckily for the Dons, they really had a point to give, and they could finish it off here.
And bad news for the Dons is Anderson rotates into the front row, so the Dons need to terminate the ball right now and not let Loyola try and transition. Great pass. Here's a chance.
Boy, Duckworth had a running start, but we talk about that front line up there. Yep. They are intimidating.
Yep, this is the good blocking lineup here for Loyola. And again, Hutz wants to keep this ball in and let his block do their job.
Duckworth tries it from the back row.
And Shank hits that ball out of bounds. Into the net, and we saw him do that at the end of game one. Just those out-of-system balls, he just needs to show a little more self-control and put that ball in play.
Josh Stewart back in for the first time tonight as the Dons try and hold on. First time in game 4, we should say.
And the senior gets the job done.
Boy, that's not what you want to see with the game on the line. 3 red shirts coming at you, and he gets it done.
Yep.
And Stewart, it's a short-lived time on the court because Nate Berg's right back in to serve.
You know, and one of the reasons Coach Ball made that substitution, obviously for the bigger block, but also he's out of timeout, so that sort of stops the momentum a bit by making a sub.
Berg with a nice floater, and now we're going to see the left-hander fired up. Dons handle it. Oh. Tough angle from Brock Ulrich, and once again, the Ramblers in control.
Well, again, the Dons want to try and finish right here. They don't want to put the ball so that it can be dug because you got Anderson up there, and it'll go right to him. Very good pass. Good swing by Rogers.
Oh, nice shot.
And if this game is going to come down to a question of guts, I'm going to tip it in the favor of the Dons because that's what they've been playing with ever since Coach Ball went to this lineup.
Well, I think you have to. They have played with guts the entire time, and Duckworth serves it up.
Anderson.
Now, if it comes down to the left hand of Anderson, that's another story.
Yeah. But again, another gutsy chance, gutsy play here. The Dons have got to make another tough pass. They just got to stay tough here.
Daniel Lees, 32-31 your score.
And a great swing by Ulrich for that tool out of bounds.
Well, he's got the 2 big blockers right in front of him, and Ulrich puts it away.
Boy, he's had ice in his veins these last few points.
32-all, they're moving the crowd back. They're getting into it here at the Gate Center as game 4 turning into somewhat of a short marathon.
You've got Ulrich, great server here. But trouble is as you got Anderson lurking on one side and Lamoureux lurking on the other.
Oh, what a shot.
Very smart volleyball right there.
Well, you see the intensity in that group right now.
Wow, this crowd is insane right now. And a play like that can just get a crowd going crazy.
Ulrich trying to finish things off and send things to a 5th game.
What a dig! All right, here's a chance for the Dons. That's game. Wow. Double hit.
What a finish. Boy, you can't say enough about that.
Wow. Boy, if you're watching this on TV, we appreciate it. Boy, oh boy, I wish you could hear how loud this crowd is.
Well, I'm watching Shane Davis. He's simply shaking his head. I think part of that's at the referee, and part of that is in his team that he let that one slip away. And boy, gutty is probably the best way to describe that.
Oh, that last rally that epitomized what this second group brings to the court.
Well, I hate to take a break here, but we're going to take a break. I can guarantee you when we come back, it's going to be loud as we head to the decisive fifth game. Stay with us.
Pizza! I must eat. Wait, what is this? Capsicum annum? Agaricus bisporus? Allium cepa?
Can we eat this?
Peppers, mushrooms, and onions. Eat your pizza, man.
Funny.
Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, two great names.
You might be surprised to know the biggest dangers your pet faces are everyday dangers, like drinking from puddles, being boarded, squirrels in the park, and fleas and ticks. Being a pet is risky business. That's why it's important for every pet to receive a risk assessment and wellness exam twice a year. A risk assessment from your veterinary professionals helps create a unique risk profile for your dog or cat. Your veterinarian can then develop a disease protection plan that's right for your pet and the disease threats in your area. Best of all, twice-a-year exams help your veterinarian detect, treat, or prevent health problems before they become serious. So reduce the risks. Contact your veterinarian today for your pet's wellness exam, because being a pet is risky business. A message from the American Veterinary Medical Association and your local veterinarian.
Parents, there's something you can do to protect your kids from drugs and alcohol. Combine ground beef with egg, tomato sauce, breadcrumbs, and spices. Bake in an oven-safe pan at 350 for 50 minutes. Serve hot.
This is Jamie Lee Curtis. Children who eat dinner with their families are less likely to smoke, drink, or use drugs. So, have dinner together every day.
Delicious.
A message from CASA, the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University.
Well, you certainly have got your money's worth if you're a fan tonight. It's hard to even describe this last play, let alone with the game on the line. Look at the play right there.
Good job of Duckworth not making a hitting error there and making a challenging shot to the zone one. And that's the double hit that Rod Rodriguez, the up official, called, and that was game point. And that's what scrappy defense does. The longer the rally goes, the scrappy team has the advantage.
Well, we talked about the momentum coming out of game 3. I mean, clearly now the momentum's back in the Dons' corner.
Absolutely.
They will stay with that same team, and why not? Because they have just really rallied and pulled a victory possibly out of the jaws of defeat there in the end of game 4.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's all heart, it's all will, it's all desire. You got a bunch of young guys trying to prove themselves. They got nothing to lose here, and that's sometimes a dangerous type of opponent to play. Just making it work.
And the first pointer go to Loyola.
And all of a sudden he got a little tight, and that, you know, sometimes you'll hear the expression makeup call, and you know, the way Shane Davis was really angry about that double hit call to end game 4. Maybe that was Rod Rodriguez's way of sort of giving it back a little bit.
And nice put away coming right our way from Ben Duckworth. Second time in the last 3 games the Dons have been forced to a 5th game. They won the last one, and of course, if you're with us for the first time in a Game 5 atmosphere, this one will go to 15.
So it's just a sprint here. You can open it up, you're gonna have a good chance.
Duckworth swings away, but 2 red shirts waiting for him at the net, and Loyola, just like that's got a quick 2-1 lead.
Well, Dons just want to keep, you know, the ball control on the Dons side of that has been good. It's not been great, but it's been good, and good is good enough because these guys are getting good swings. McNerney's just doing a great job putting up a hittable ball. He's just flinging it up there and letting his guys go and get it.
Little floater serve. McNerney puts it up. And Shank puts it away.
And what their serve receive has done is that they've reduced the amount of aces or really, really bad passes. They've kept everything in a position for McNerney to get to and put up a hittable ball, and that's really been sort of a difference maker for the Dons.
And this time, Camberos able to hit right through the block after an interesting point going back and forth.
Camberos is just doing a nice job, again, of hitting around the block. All those Loyola hitters are doing a nice job of trying to hit around the block.
And Ian Anderson pulls this one wide, and IPFW tied up at 3.
And I gotta give it to the IPFW attackers. For a better part of the night, they've had double and triple blocks on them, and they have been finding ways to score.
And you talked about a good defensive team. They're guys that know how to block. McNerney this time doesn't get the roll.
Tough break.
Yeah, we've seen those go the other way most of the night.
Just want to get the ball back now again. Again, just give something for McNerney to work with. That'll do. Single block. Ooh.
Big block at the neck by the freshman, Mike Hutz out of Wisconsin. .53 Arnie Ball senses an important point of the game right now. You're only playing at 15, not a point, as he'll talk to his setter McNerney coming off the bench. We're going to head to break with the score 5-3. The exciting finish coming up right afterwards.
That book was all right. You know, if she continues to spill product at a rate of 3 per hour, unit cost, say 60 cents. Factor in breakage, downtime, lost sales, you're looking at $2,400 a month. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, 2 great names.
What do you emphasize in that timeout?
I think he's just talking to his guys. Keep the ball in play, make smart choices, and just stay aggressive, because that's what's gotten them into this game 5.
And you're facing a solid server who's kept it all there all night, but
there you go,
right down the line, Ben Duckworth. He's gotten some good rips in these last 2 games.
Oh, absolutely. He's got such a heavy arm. Both he and Darryl Shank can really bring it.
And this time it's Shank that brings it with the jump serve.
Nice dig. Hittable ball, off the touch.
Oh, nice touch. Well, it's a shame because IPFW played that point so well.
You know, and it's gritty, tough volleyball, and it's hard work. And, you know, sooner or later, it's going to pay off for them. We saw them getting breaks when they were working hard before. And this group of players on the floor right now has not stopped working hard.
6'4" Lamoureux to serve it up here for the Ramblers.
If they should just get past Lamoureux's serve, they'll be in really good shape.
That's one way to do it. Brock Ulrich, a big-time hit.
Up official Rod Rodriguez is overruling the call.
Well, I was going to say
that ball was out of bounds.
That was right in front of Coach Shane Davis. And, you know, if you look at the line judge, it literally was right at his feet. He called it in. The judge overrules, and suddenly 7-4 is your score.
Well, Rod Rodriguez has picked an interesting time to insert himself into this match after not calling hands and overruling.
Brock Ulrich sends that one. There's no overruling that one.
No, for sure.
(7-5), Nate Berg, the Bishop Dwenger product, will serve it up.
A huge block. Couldn't ask for a better
better time for a block like that.
Oh, Joe Gutley has been so effective from that spot on the floor. Big time block.
They need to stay on his cross court. He's been hitting cross court most of the match. He's been hitting what we call the seam, and that's the space in between the blockers.
And this time Anderson puts it away at 8-6. They will switch sides as we've reached the halfway point in the decisive 5th game.
And, you know, you always want to be the team that switches with 8, of course. I mean, that means you're leading. That sounds silly to say. But on that switch, it's sometimes you want to keep that momentum. And it's sort of like a timeout. You don't want to miss your serve on the switch. So Loyola's got to be careful not to ease up with the switch happening in their favor.
Mike Hutz, the freshman, to serve it up, and a big point for the Dons. A pretty good serve, but they're in good position. 3 red shirts, head of steam there is what Brock Ulrich had. Artie Ball's going to take a timeout. 9-6 is our score. We'll be back for the conclusion of this one here at the Gate Center.
And I've made a decision that will totally change my life. Cameron's too. It's a huge responsibility, leading someone into, who knows, communication or science or math. That's what life's all about, right? Learning so you can pass on knowledge to younger minds. Dad, Mom, I want to be a teacher.
Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, 2 great names.
Back at the Gate Center, decisive 5th game here, big conference match. Dons are down 9-6 and a real big point here. I think Artie Ball sensed that and wanted to take a quick timeout.
It's a good timeout. I mean, no need to hold on to him. And what they do out of this timeout is probably going to be one of the most crucial points of this match. It's an opportunity. Single block.
And Ulrich puts it away big time. Not going to hit him much better than that.
Nice job of Dan McNerney. Again, that's called setting against the grain. He was moving to his right, and he pushed the ball out to his left and caught the blockers cheating and got a single block.
And the freshman Ben Duckworth serves it up.
Oh, looking.
Oh! Boy, he's fun to watch. That's Dan McNerney.
And again, those types of plays, when a setter goes up and wins a joust or dunks a ball like that, that is just what energy that creates in the gym.
And suddenly the Dons and Ben Duckworth have a chance to tie things up.
All right, though, but the Dons, Dons give that point up, but they just chipped away and cut the lead from 3 to 2. There's plenty of time left here. Another good pass, another good run. Ulrich is still front row. He's been swinging really well, but you got to expect Loyola to be sitting on him.
Gutley with the jump serve, and that could have been trouble.
Off of Steve Rogers' hip. Oh! And out of bounds.
That worked out well.
I think that hit Steve Rogers in the knee or the hip.
You get a long pass, and then you get the left-hander with a free swing. Big point for the Dons at 10-9.
Steve Rogers has been doing a nice job of getting his hands on a lot of Loyola's hits. Let's see if he can come up with a big block here. Nope. And
11-9. I'm not sure Coach Ball was too happy about where that serve went.
But, if they can get this point here, it's the 1-point lead.
Guy we've not seen much of tonight in Kyle Exline.
Good enough, good enough. Opportunity here.
Boy, Anderson had no idea where that ball went.
But he was just hanging and banging there. So all he could do is a real high set, just get up there and hope for something good to happen.
Big point for the Dons trying to stop this rally.
Tight pass. Dug up, though, by the setter.
And Nate Burke's going to check back in. We got a 12-10 ball game. Also going to see Yost coming back in. Perhaps one of the same substitutions we saw before.
And this is a serving sub. Yost does have a really good jump serve. And so Steve Rogers has been hitting sort of an easy float, is out, and in comes a good jump server. Oh.
You know, I was just going to wonder, he's been sitting there a long time. When you come off, does it affect a player like that? Or?
Sure, I mean, when you come in cold, I mean, it's hard to get it started. But hey, you're on a team that was in the national championships last year. You got to be able to come off the bench and deliver.
13-10, Ian Anderson, certainly a guy that's delivered on the other sideline.
Now the Dons got their backs against the wall.
Anderson almost hit that one long, but suddenly 14-10, and the visitors from Chicago will serve for the victory in the match. And we talked about the defense, and that's how this one ends tonight, with defense up at the net. 15-10 is your final in game number 5, and Loyola Chicago takes the 5-game marathon with 3-2. A nice ovation, though. I think the crowd appreciates the effort these guys gave.
You know, that's one of the nice things about playing in this gym is the crowd does know volleyball, and they do appreciate hard work. And that's what they saw tonight. They saw good volleyball and hard work, really on both teams' parts. But you really got to give it to the guys coming off the bench for IPFW. They really made a match out of this, what looked like would have been a rout.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the end of game 3, I mean, it was a very indecisive. We were even going to see a game 5, let alone a competitive one. We're going to take a quick break. We will wrap things up and look ahead on the rest of the Dons season coming up here live from the Gate Center. You're watching CATV.
Are you in there? What's up? The show's at 7. Whoa. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, 2 great names.
What have you done for your marriage today?
I gave a huge hug this morning, like a really big squeeze.
She got a really short haircut that she hated, and I wrote her a note and put it up on the mirror saying that she was a cute girl with cute hair.
I got him mustard and mayonnaise for his sandwich when we were having lunch.
Today we've actually organized a date night tonight.
And silverware and napkins. Wasn't that wonderful?
What have I done for my marriage today?
Wow, that is a great question.
I took the baby while she worked.
I suppose I didn't yell at him for anything at all.
I got up with the baby while he slept.
Yeah. I carried my wife's purse.
What have you done for your marriage today?
What have I done?
I listened to my wife when we talked on the telephone today.
Well, I've done today what I usually do, and that is obey.
She really likes it when I listen.
What have you done for your marriage today? Little things can make a big difference. For ideas, go to foryourmarriage.org. A message from the Catholic Church.
Mr. President, my parents believe that eating meals together will make our country strong. Is this something that you did when you were a kid?
I did eat with my family so long as my mother wasn't cooking.
It's not good making fun of your mother, even if you are president, but it is good to have dinner with your kids. We know the more often children have dinner with their families, the less likely they are to smoke, drink, and use drugs. So simply having dinner together can help your children forever, even if you're not a great cook.
And welcome back to the Gate Center. A lot of numbers on the screen, as there often happens to be when you see a 5-game match like this. And the Dons left nothing on the floor. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I mean, look at game 3 there, 30-20. That is a tremendous, tremendous deficit. And so to come back and win that game 4 and then have a real solid game 5, you got to give it to the guys that came in. We're seeing some highlights now. And, Brock Ulrich was really huge down the stretch there for the Dons. You see a lot of swings by him.
McNerney, certainly the heart and soul in there, is somewhere at the point in the third game it kind of slipped away a little bit, and you wonder if fatigue would come into play, because certainly the Dons used a lot of bodies out there tonight.
Oh, sure.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Well, there you see McNerney with that great tippy tap on the tight pass, but the middles for Loyola were really effective and just effective enough to open up the outside hitters. Here you see Anderson setting the ball up, and Cambro's going for it and getting blocked. And here's a good pass. Nate Berg getting a swing but getting blocked, and that was the last. You saw they had a triple block on Nate there. And
maybe fitting, because that was the story of the game for them.
Exactly. That was just what I was going to say. It's just the way it was for the Dons. They were facing a triple block most of the night.
I guess that adds up to a 252 hitting percentage.
Absolutely. Tough serving by Loyola led to some tough passing by IPFW, and and then plus when you're not passing well, your offense becomes predictable, and that leads to a low hitting percentage like a 252. They have Loyola hit 348, 11 blocks apiece, 44 digs for IPFW, but what it comes down to is Loyola just kept the ball in play more than IPFW did, because what we don't see on the screen is there was 23 attacking errors by Loyola and 32 attacking errors by the Dons, and that's a big difference.
That adds up.
Those are free points when you make a hitting error.
And so the Dons fall to 2-3 in the conference. They had a chance to leap past Loyola. Now I guess the question is, where do they go from here? Certainly they got a Quincy team they should handle tomorrow as we look at the kill leaders, and the big three, certainly the big two more throughout the third, fourth, and fifth game. Anderson and Guntley, just two big weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. Anderson, he just not only did he get timely kills, but he got lots of them, especially down the stretch there. He came up with a few big ones right when the Dons were like close to tying it up. Guntley was just so effective. And what we don't see up there is we do not see middle hitters for Loyola up there, but the middle hitters, they hit terrific tonight. And because they were hitting so well, there were so many open looks for the outside hitters, because the middle blocker jumps with the middle hitter, and then that leaves a one-on-one situation for Anderson, Cambros, and Guntley.
I guess we leave it finally with this tonight. Where do we go tomorrow night now that a big number of the key players basically sat out game 4 and 5?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess whatever Coach Ball decides to do tomorrow night, whatever team he puts on the floor, they just want to get things started back up for him. I have a feeling he might go back to his starters, maybe, and it's a chance for them to redeem themselves and get back on the right track.
I think he'd be proud the way those 6 finished the game. Is one tradition here, if you've never been to the Gates there, and C.J. Macias's look right there kind of sums it up. Certainly disappointment, but they'll stick around, they'll sign autographs. Never as fun to do that after a loss, but it's a lot more fun after a victory.
Absolutely.
That'll wrap things up for the Gates Center. An exciting one tonight. Unfortunately for the Dons, it goes the other way. They are right back in town, of course, on Saturday, and a big weekend next weekend as well. Thanks for joining us here on CATV. For Coach Florio, I'm Ryan Elijah. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.